We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
Sometimes it's the small things that make life easier, like never worrying about being declined at an ATM when only cash will do. With You're Covered from US Eagle, we'll cover you, even if the money's not there. That's a good feeling. And we do it with no extra fees or penalties. It's called trust, and we think that's important, especially if we're asking you to trust us. At US Eagle, that's just part of what...
These are more than just the sounds of a safe place to go after school. These are the sounds of interest being ignited and of mentors making an impact. At Boys and Girls Clubs, we don't do just one thing. We do whatever it takes to meet the needs of every kid who comes through those doors. Because whatever it takes is what it takes to build great futures. Great futures start here.
Too strong. It's going to be a rebound there by Brown. Brown gets it in. Bucket there by Alter.
Crossover for Jackson. Salas steals the rebound and finds a cutting Mitchell at the rim.
Great move.
It's almost even in the foul territory, and Cueva looking to take advantage. Said Yates draws the foul, and one opportunity is said, gives the muscles down.
And it's 11-4, 38. Another turnover by Rio Grande. Montoya off the glass, up and in, back-to-back layups for the Demons.
Stolen away again by Valdez. Valdez going to bring it out.
Valdez has to have around 3 or 4 steals. 3 by Mays.
Bingo! That one rattles in for Alyssa Mays, and the All-District Player of the Year has
12. Just lay down.
Now.
It's 7 a.m.
It's 7 a.m. Time for the opening drive.
Voted the best sports show in New Mexico
for 5 years running. It's the OD in the AM with Jeff Symbieta, A. Marie Castillo, and JJ Bob.
Well, no matter how good your defense is, and it can be really good, and they say defense wins championships, but you've got to score points to win, right? No matter how good your defense is, the goal of the game is put the ball through that round ring. And when you go 11-plus minutes in a national championship game without scoring a field goal against a team that is really good, and in this case, historically good, and we'll get into that, the road ends in tears, no matter how good you are. And sometimes, the other guy's just better. Good morning to you. Happy Tuesday. College basketball season comes to an end here in Houston last night with the Connecticut Huskies beating San Diego State 76-59 in the national championship game at NRG Stadium. Aztecs came out hot, you thought, okay, here we go. They're up 10-8 after the first TV timeout, but it was all Connecticut from there as they take a 36-20 lead. It was 36-24 at halftime. Aztecs get to within 5, and then UConn pulls away on a 16-4 run. Opening drive, Jeff Symbieta, A. Marie, JJ having a rough morning, man. I thought the Aztecs had a rough morning. Yeah. How you living?
I'm doing great. I really enjoyed. I was living through you last night. I was thinking of all you because it's close to home, right? And when San Diego State cut it down to 5, I was like, okay, here we go in the second half. And but overall, good game though. It was still what a fun ride and what a great tournament we had in general.
It was a good time. It was 58-50 after the. Keyshawn Johnson hit a 3 at 7:58, and then at 6 minutes to go, and inside 6 minutes they cut it. It was at 6:15, I think is what it was, where 5:19, the 5:19 mark, where San Diego State cut it down to 6 points, and then UConn went on a 16-4 run to close it out. Look, they're really good. Like they're big.
They're huge.
I sent you. I hope I sent you enough pictures. You asked for pictures.
No.
Did I overwhelm you with pictures?
No. I just also wanted the picture. I wanted to see the experience. It's so cool. I mean, you see it on TV, but like when you're there and everyone you got to meet and the crowd and the fans, like even watching on TV, I was just getting goosebumps watching them go. I love when they were panning back to the stadiums in San Diego and UConn. It was wild. So I had a good time last night.
Good. Yeah, I did too.
Glad you did.
And I found a pretty decent seat.
Yeah, no, you had a really good seat.
I found a pretty good seat, third row off the floor, kind of, and it was, gosh, the celebrity status there. Watching Dick Vitale walk through and shake hands, and I don't know if I told you this. Halftime, Nance goes up in the crowd. And just shook hands and took pictures with everybody. And on the way back, I shook his hand and said, I'm just so glad that you're getting this. Like, it was so cool to just, he almost just like did a victory lap. He had a guy with him, but not a security guy necessarily, more so a producer that was listening to the time cues in his ear. And he walked up into the crowd kind of right behind us and just shook hands and took pictures and talked to people. And, he's from Houston and so he's home, but it looked like he knew people. But it was like a victory lap at halftime in the stands, which was really cool, as Jim Nance called his final four.
Which is so crazy to me. Not that I'm super old or anything, but I'm getting to that point in my life where I'm like, oh gosh, Jim Nance is retiring. Like, this is like, man, for future generations, they're gonna be like, who's Jim Nance? No, they'll know who he is. He's a legend.
No, I think his voice will. I mean, we still know who, like Keith Jackson. Do you know who Keith Jackson is?
Yes, of course. But I'm just saying, I felt kind of old last night.
Yeah, no, my point is, I think those great ones will live. I think the voices of Vince Scully, Mel Allen, the voices from the past live. Dick Vitale, just walking around. He didn't go up in the stands, but he kind of reached over the barriers and shook a bunch of hands and took pictures. And it was just really cool. Bill Walton was wearing a San Diego State hat. His son played at San Diego State. He's a San Diego guy, even though we went to UCLA. So the experience was tremendous. And there was a moment, and I don't know what you thought, and I don't think this was the case, but San Diego State came out hot. And there's 72,000 plus in the building, the biggest stage period, and they hit their first few shots. Lamont Butler hits a 3, and Trammell hits a 3. Keyshawn had a turnaround on the baseline, and Bradley hits a fade, and so they're up 10-8, and then they go in that drought. They hit the Bradley bucket was with 16:32 on the clock. And they didn't hit another field goal until 5:24. Trammell hit a runner, and they didn't score a point. Like Johnson had 12 points. Basically, they had 2 points. They hit 4 free throws, so 4 points in 11 minutes. They didn't have a field goal, and there was a moment where I wondered if the moment was too big. And I don't know that I think that, but there was a moment in that the middle of that section of the first half where they went on that drought where I'm like, wow, is the moment too big for them? And I don't think it was, but boy, they just couldn't shoot. And we've seen San Diego State go on droughts throughout the season. I mean, that's kind of the one thing that you worry about San Diego State. You know their defense is going to travel. You know they're going to play. And I thought they,
competitive.
Yeah. But as big as they are and as grown men as they are, dude, UConn just brings them. They bring Caravan's 6'8" and 210, and he's a freshman. But they bring like Klingon. He's 7'2", 265. I mean, he's all of it, and he is a freshman. Sonogo is a big human being at 6'9" and thick, and they balled. And sometimes you just say, man, that was the best team. And I will tell you, when we started out the season, the Lobos were the last unbeaten. UConn was the second.
Yep.
To last unbeaten. And early in the season, I think we all looked at UConn and went, wow. I'm like, that team is really, really, really good. They went on a little slide for a month in league. They're undefeated outside of the Big East. They were the best team. And they won their games by 20 points per game in the NCAA tournament, which is, I think, the third best or fourth best in the history of the tournament. Kentucky in '96 won by 21.5. Villanova a little bit more, and Carolina in '09 a little bit more. But it's the fourth most dominant run in tournament history, and they were just better than San Diego State last night.
They were better, and when you say I think that's just not too big for them, but I think of having veteran experience plays a lot in March Madness, and UConn's been on this stage before, so I do think this is, I'm always trying to be optimistic, really good for San Diego State, and I think we'll see them in plenty Elite Eights in the future. I think we'll see them go further in tournaments to come too.
Yeah, I think it's inarguable that it's good for San Diego State. I don't know.
Experience alone, like these guys are veterans; they're used to playing Big East teams, and Kentucky's the quote unquote blue bloods that you're naming. It's just like a different level. And it's not saying that San Diego State cannot play at that level. It's just experience, and maybe they're on their way to becoming one of those teams.
Yeah, I think there's something to it. I don't know that I think that this particular UConn team has played now, if you want to say UConn as a program, that's their fifth championship in 24 years, right? It's like 20% of the time UConn's winning championships. Right, and so is that right? 20%?
Yes.
No, a little.
No,
5 out of 25. 5 times 5 is 25. So yeah, 20%. That's more than anybody else in the last 24 years. Connecticut, and so I mean, we're going to get into semantics and terms today. We've got a segment coming up later about terms and quotes and semantics and what we're naming things. But I don't. This particular group, not necessarily. In fact, I know Lobo fan was taking pride, as you should. You're the only team that beat San Diego State on their floor this year. The Aggies beat UConn, and a lot of these guys, the Aggies beat UConn last year in the NCAA tournament. This is that team that New Mexico State beat. Now, not exactly all of them, but the core of them. I mean, Adama Sonoma was there, and Calcaterra was there, and Tristan Newton was there. So the Aggies, that's where they were a year ago. And then, of course, the Lobos beating San Diego State. So I got a lot of thoughts on this. We're going to open it up for you today at 505-246-0610. Area code 505-246-0610. The emails will come in this morning. Jeff at sportsanimalabq.com. JJ will be here. JJ at sportsanimalabq.com. Adrian's producing on ProView Network, so you can watch the show. He's got highlights up from the game last night. He's already shown you a bunch of them. We're going to go everywhere on this. I want to go everywhere from the post-game tiers to their thoughts on the portal to branding to national perspective to, I mean, there's a lot of layers to what happened here. But, Marie, you just kind of said something, and I think you, whether you know it or not, I think you bottom-lined it. The run's over and it ends in a tough way, but I think for West Coast basketball, for Mountain West basketball, and obviously for San Diego State, when you get a day or two away from this, everything was positive. Everything was positive. Yeah, they got beat in the national championship game, and 358 other teams would say, yeah, no, I'd take that fate. Right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. All right, when we come back, we all dislike the term mid-major, right? And it's used, I think, and I was sitting in the room with all this national media, and I was having some conversations with conference people. So we all dislike the term. I think I got a better term. I think I got a solution for you I'm pretty sure you're going to like it. I'll tell you what it is and why it's way more descriptive of what leagues like the Mountain West are. That's next. It's the opening drive on 95.9 FM at AM 610, the Sports Animal.
Wrestling fans!
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
Sometimes it's the small things that make life easier, like never worrying about being declined at an ATM when only cash will do. With You're Covered from US Eagle, we'll cover you, even if the money's not there. That's a good feeling. And we do it with no extra fees or penalties. It's called trust, and we think that's important, especially if we're asking you to trust us. At US Eagle, that's just part of what it means when we say people mean more.
Don't sacrifice quality of flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, green and red chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier Cinnabons. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenpride@abq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs, proud supporter of ProView Sports Network.
These are more than just the sounds of a safe place to go after school. These are the sounds of interest being ignited and of mentors making an impact. At Boys and Girls Clubs, we don't do just one thing. We do whatever it takes to meet the needs of every kid who comes through those doors. Because whatever it takes is what it takes to build great futures. Great futures start here.
Check it out.
What is it?
It's a time machine, bro. I could jump into the future, get my paycheck early.
I already get my paycheck early at US Eagle.
Get your paycheck up to 2 days early with US Eagle Early Payday. Now's a great time to have your checking with US Eagle.
Time machine.
Your girlfriend breaks up with you in 22 hours, 53 minutes.
Wait, what? Seth?
We fight the battles no one hears about.
We drop into the middle of firefights to rescue others.
And act as one-man air traffic control towers. We're the ones who go before all others.
U.S. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
Hi everyone, my name is Master Sergeant Jacob Groves. I am an Air Force Special Warfare pararescueman. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Network and New Mexico Youth Sports. Air Force Special Warfare operators are critical thinkers. They maintain a high level of fitness, they take initiative, and they don't quit. For more information on Air Force Special Warfare, contact me at the number listed below.
U.S. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
As a mom, I try to make the best choices for my family and our health. That's why I choose Western Sky Community Care. It's a Medicaid plan with quality health coverage and special benefits like Boys and Girls Club membership credit, additional dental benefits, and wellness and support programs. I decide which Medicaid plan is right for us. I choose Western Sky Community Care.
Learn more about Western Sky Community Care by visiting discoverwesternsky.com today.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walking to the cashier, order up a root beer and a number one. Cover it with green stuff, one scoop is not enough. Find a booth is real tough, back by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot, it's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
We fight the battles no one hears about.
We drop into the middle of firefights to rescue others.
And act as one-man air traffic control towers. We're the ones who go before all others.
U.S. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area.
In the last 24 years, they beat San Diego State here in Houston in a fun Final Four, a magical Final Four, a historical one in a number of senses with two non-power conference, and we're going to get into terminology in a bit. First time that you've ever had a 4 and 5 play for a national championship. The last one for Jim Nance. There were so many really, really special things about this one. Opening drive, Jeff Symbieta. JJ Buck, good morning. How you doing?
What it do? What's good?
You all right? You okay?
Yeah.
All right. Rough morning, man. It's right. Life.
Sometimes you get things in your tires.
Sometimes you get a flat tire. Were you on a side street, on a freeway? Where'd you flat out?
Luckily, I saw it when I walked out to the car.
Oh.
It was flat. I was like, well,
I got to change.
Dealing with this right now.
All right. I'm glad you're safe, and I'm glad you're here. We were just going over some of the stuff, and I want to get into terminology because that's what I tease. But I started out. I don't know what you heard. I kind of had two main points off the top. I said no matter how good your defense is, you got to be able to score, and to have an 11-minute field goal drought at this level against a team like that is going to be hard to come back from, a team that was historically good. And secondly, and this is probably the bottom line, JJ, sometimes the other guys are better. And as good as San Diego State's been, and I think they are that good, and they're one of the elite teams in America, UConn all year, and the text line is right. UNM was last undefeated. Purdue was second, then UConn, so UConn was third. That's right. It was like within the day, I want to say. Might even have been hours. But JJ, those were my two overall takes.
Yeah, UConn is fantastic, and you watch what they do, the length at every position. And if you think San Diego State is big, UConn, they're like giants then. It's just the length and athleticism, and that's what we've all been talking about. How do you take that next step? What do you need to do to compete? And we're looking at San Diego State, Nevada, and now the Aztecs are like, man, that was just a different level. And I never felt like the moment was too big or the Aztecs weren't going to be ready to play. I was asked that yesterday after that Final Four win. It was actually on with Brandon Boat, and he's like, do you think that was the Aztecs, hoorah? Do you think they're going to have anything left? And I think absolutely. And we saw that in our first few minutes. They came out, they hit shots, they went toe-to-toe, and then just went cold. And we know the one area that the Aztecs, if you're going to say they're not great at, they can absolutely go cold because a lot of it isn't efficient offense. It's just pull up, hit a shot, or be physical inside. And when you have a team that is long at every possession, they went cold, plus got locked down defensively, and you had those long stretches without a basket. And it was wild to me that with all that being said, and even with the final score, what it was, that it was a 5-point game late in the second half.
5:19 to go. Yeah, I think there was. I think I agree with you that the moment wasn't too big. I think they got frustrated, and so Matt Bradley hits a fadeaway with 16:32 to go in the first half, and they don't hit another field goal till 5:24. So it was 11 plus minutes, and there was a frustration that I sensed, and it was just sitting there and watching. So you can watch everything, right? I mean, you know, when you're at the game, you don't get to just watch what they show you. You're watching body language, you're watching the bench, and they kept going inside, JJ. 6 block shots, and it felt like way more than that. But San Diego State turned the ball over. I want to say it was 9 times in the first half. I remember looking at the halftime stats. Yeah, it was 9 turnovers in the first half, which is really unlike them. And there was only 3 block shots, but UConn was really affecting everything they did. To me, one of the biggest differences, up to that point, San Diego State was able to get it to their bigs, whether it was a Rope, whether it was Mensah, whether it's Johnson, whoever it was, and they were able to score And this was a different beast, man. UConn was a different beast defensively. And as good as San Diego State is defensively, UConn's that good, and UConn's better offensively.
Yeah, the athleticism is really what stands out. What the guards were able to do, how they were able to create. And just going inside Snogo, who's so good. His touch is unbelievable. He's one of those guys that he is deceptive. If you haven't watched him play, first time you see him and you're like, all right, that's just a big dude. But his touch is phenomenal, and he can hit awkward shots and those turnarounds through contact. You cannot move that man, and it was an impressive performance. And then, of course, playing off that with Newton and Jackson, those guys that do all the little things on top of that. And that's why UConn, despite being a 4 seed, they were a favorite on the 4 line for a lot of people to make a deep tournament run because they checked every box when you look at 1 through 5 and then their style of play.
I thought early in the season when there were down to the last few teams undefeated, I thought UConn was the best team in America, and they went on that run where they lost 8 games. They were undefeated in conference, but they went on a run where they lost to Xavier and Providence, beat Creighton, lost to Marquette, St. John's, and Seton Hall. They lost 5 out of 6 games in early January, and I'm like, okay, I'm not sure what happened, but they kind of, for me. I just that's when I lost touch with them, and then you look what they did in February, and they went on a run, lost in their conference tournament, but their only loss since February 11th, I'm sorry, was in the conference tournament to Marquette. They're the best team in America, JJ, and to win at a pace of 20 plus points and to do it the way they've done it. I don't think anybody's got anything in this part of the country in this conference with that program to hang their head about. A-Marie said it's positive, and I agree with that. This is something to build on, and it said a lot about you needed this in the West Coast. We needed West Coast, Western United States basketball to have something a little bit to hang their head on. And I said this earlier, New Mexico beat San Diego State in their place. We've been reminded that a lot. JJ, this team is there's a few additions. But that's, in large respect, the team New Mexico State beat last year in the NCAA tournament, that UConn team.
Yeah, it's experience, right? Guys that are better across the board for UConn. And, I don't know, I think Gonzaga's done the same thing that San Diego State has done.
Yeah, no doubt.
Just get to a championship game. But to me, this is more about the Mountain West instead of West Coast basketball. Because what you were saying yesterday, when we were having this conversation about Butler and their run – and coming out of the Horizon League and that being a 1-bid league, even if San Diego State were to leave, the Mountain West is still a multi-bid league. So it's something that they can still hang their hat on. It's something that this entire conference can use, I think, better than, say, the Horizon League was able to do it when Butler made that one appearance as a Horizon League member. Now, 14, 15 years ago now. And really, I think Brian Dutcher, too, the stuff that he was talking about, is going to be really interesting as we get into it, too, as you talk about the transfer portal and NIL money. They're a team that, for their contributors, went a transfer portal. But then they also had a roster of guys that they developed, stuck around, and that's the balance. You have to find a balance in this day and age. You cannot ignore the transfer portal. You might hate it, but your team has to use it. You have to find a way. Get a couple guys that you can develop that will stick around, that will follow over at the university, combine them with difference makers in the portal. And what this tournament has done, I think it's reignited some faith that college athletics can still be that game we look at that says everyone has a chance, even as things change and it becomes more professional.
So that leads right into where I wanted to go this segment, but and we're going to do it the next segment. I know I just teased it, and I'm going to do it again because and my apologies. I told you that we were going to go somewhere, and then I want to catch up with JJ in his first segment in. But JJ, you lead into where you talk about the conference, and what do we call this? What do we call the Mountain West? What do we call the Atlantic 10, maybe even the Conference USA or the West Coast Conference, because they're not mid-majors. It's a relatively demeaning term to put this league in the same bucket as you would, let's just say, the Northeast Conference where Farley Dickinson plays or the SWAC. It isn't right. And I was watching some people get really frustrated and angry with some of the national media yesterday. So I got a term, and I I think it's right. I'm going to run it by you. I want to see what you think, but I think this should be the term, and I think it can stick. But I know we're playing semantics, but what should it be called? We're going to talk about that when we come back. The number to get in is 505-246-0610. That's area code 505-246-0610. Emails Jeff at sportsanimalabq.com, JJ at sportsanimalabq.com. IPS watches my home, International Protective Service. I've been watching them on the security cameras while I'm gone. I see them when I'm home. They come by every single day. And what they do is offer an extra layer of protection. Highly trained armed guards and 24-hour patrols. Hundreds of homeowners and business owners throughout Albuquerque trust Aaron Jones and his officers to protect what they've worked so hard to build, because property crimes on the rise and officer shortage continues to be on the rise, unfortunately. And so you've got to do something to protect what you've worked so hard to build. Don't let the bad guys come in and destroy it. Call IPS, see what they can do for you. Aaron Jones started this company up in Fort Hills 17 years ago, and now hundreds of homeowners all over Albuquerque, hundreds of business owners all over the town trust IPS to protect what they've worked hard to build. Committed to our city and your protection. IPS's number is 505-897-2420, 505-897-2420, or online at ipsglobal.com.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
Hi everyone, my name is Master Sergeant Jacob Groves. I am an Air Force Special Warfare Pararescueman. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Network and New Mexico Youth Sports. Air Force Special Warfare operators are critical thinkers. They maintain a high level of fitness, they take initiative, and they don't quit. For more information on Air Force Special Warfare, contact me at the number listed below.
U.S. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
Check it out.
What is it?
It's a time machine, bro. I could jump into the future, get my paycheck early.
I already get my paycheck early at US Eagle.
Get your paycheck up to 2 days early with US Eagle Early Payday. Now's a great time to have your checking with US Eagle.
Time machine.
Your girlfriend breaks up with you in 22 hours, 53 minutes.
Wait, what? Seth?
These are more than just the sounds of a safe place to go after school. These are the sounds of interest being ignited and of mentors making an impact. At Boys and Girls Clubs, we don't do just one thing. We do whatever it takes to meet the needs of every kid who comes through those doors. Because whatever it takes is what it takes to build great futures. Great futures start here.
We fight the battles no one hears about.
We drop into the middle of firefights to rescue others.
And act as one-man air traffic control towers. We're the ones who go before all others.
U.S. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walking to the cashier, order up a root beer and a number one. Cover it with green stuff, one scoop is not enough. Find a booth is real tough, back by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot, it's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
Sometimes it's the small things that make life easier, like never worrying about being declined at an ATM when only cash will do. With your coverage from US Eagle, we'll cover you, even if the money's not there. That's a good feeling. And we do it with no extra fees or penalties. It's called trust, and we think that's important, especially if we're asking you to trust us. At U.S. Eagle, that's just part of what it means when we say people mean more.
Hi everyone, my name is Master Sergeant Jacob Groves. I am a Air Force Special Warfare pararescueman. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Network and New Mexico Youth Sports. Air Force Special Warfare operators are critical thinkers. They maintain a high level of fitness, they take initiative, and they don't quit. For more information on Air Force Special Warfare, contact me at the number listed below.
U.S. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
These are more than just the sounds of a safe place to go after school. These are the sounds of interest being ignited and of mentors making an impact. At Boys and Girls Clubs, we don't do just one thing. We do whatever it takes to meet the needs of every kid who comes through those doors. Because whatever it takes is what it takes to build great futures. Great futures start here.
So college basketball season comes to an end here in Houston, Texas at NRG Stadium. Hello, friends. 76-59. Connecticut, the best team in the country 4 out of the last 5 months, and the best team in the country certainly in the NCAA tournament rolls through San Diego State. Rolls through San Diego State. It was a 5-point game, JJ, with 5:19 to go. I know the final margin is 17 points, and so history will tell that it was convincing, and it was convincing in every aspect of it. But at 5 points, I think down the stretch, did you get a weird feeling, or did you say, "No, here they come"?
Well, you got a feeling of here we go again. They can do this, but UConn was in control regardless. If that makes
Right.
sense. Like, they're like, 5. All right, we'll push this right back up to double digits.
Yeah.
And that's what was so impressive about it is the Aztecs would be grinding, putting their heads down, and UConn would be like, all right, let's take a deep breath. And now we're back to a 12-point lead. And we're back to a 15-point lead. And you heard it right going into halftime. Dan Hurley was like, man, we should be up more. And it felt like a victory at that point in time that they were only down 12 at halftime were the Aztecs because, man, UConn is just so good, man. They could just boom, just like that.
So during that stretch where the Aztecs were not scoreless, went without a field goal for what was it? For what did I tell you, 11 plus minutes. A young man sitting next to me, he said, "Well, they got to cut it to single digits at halftime." And I said, "You know what? I think 12 would be something." What were they down? 33-17 at one point. When it was 10-8 after that first media timeout, JJ, they stretched it out to 22-12, 26-14, 33-17, 36-20. So you get it down to 12, you can go in and you feel okay because you've been coming back all tournament. Because he's like, well, San Diego State's not a comeback team. And I'm like, I don't know, man. They were down 9 to Alabama. They were down big to FAU. Like, you got to stop, throw away your last year in December narratives and kind of watch what happened in this tournament. Now, they were up against a different beast. And that's how it went. All right, so you and I do not use the term mid-major, correct?
Not a lot.
At least not when referencing New Mexico, the Mountain West, San Diego State, right? I mean, we do. I know I don't, and I know I can't remember last time I heard it used on this show in reference to this league, right?
It's been a minute.
I just don't think it's accurate. And to say anything outside the power conference is a mid-major, I think is inaccurate. And I was sitting in the post-game press conference yesterday, and the term Power 5 came up from national media on a regular basis, which is an inaccurate term when it comes to college basketball. Don't you agree?
I absolutely agree.
It's about just use BCS still if you want to do that. I mean, it's just wrong. There's 6 power conferences in college basketball, and if you don't think there are, check out the Big East, who just won the national championship, and who, by the way, I'll make an argument for you, was the best league in college basketball right now. All right, so what is the Mountain? What would you say? There's 28 other leagues, JJ. Are they all, or 20? I'm sorry, 26 other leagues. Is the Mountain West the same as the SWAC or the Northeast Conference or the MEAC or the Pickett?
No, it is not.
Okay. I think the term is high major. And I think that the coaches need to grab onto, and I think Brian Dutcher had an opportunity yesterday, and he will. He talks about FAU. In Conference USA this year was a high major league. On a regular basis, the Mountain West, the Atlantic 10, the American, this year Conference USA, I do believe the West Coast Conference would be high majors. And I don't know how you describe, you define who's in that. And JJ, I don't know if that's a rolling definition. 1 year this league is, 1 year that league is. But I think it's a demeaning term. And I was watching people from the conference. I was in this press conference, and I could just see some of the people, and you know them, bristling at this demeaning reference to, well, you're not a Power 5 league. First of all, Power 5 is such a garbage term when it comes to basketball. It's not real. And what does this mean for you mid majors? And it does. It feels demeaning, because you know who wasn't at the Final Four in Houston? The SEC, the Big Ten, the Big 12, the Pac-10. I mean, how do you have power without them? And I don't know. Maybe I'm making too much of semantics, but semantics are what craft the message. And sitting in that room, in that building with the national media, most of them from east of where I'm sitting in Houston, Texas, I think the term mid-major has got to be modified. And I think high major is a term that is not as demeaning, that would describe a non-power conference team. The power conference is resources. And so I think there's 6 of those leagues. And then there's another level.
Yeah, and I think a lot of it probably just stems back from money and how to classify these teams. Because when you look at, the basketball budgets for teams in the tournament, there's 3 that stand out. It's UConn, Duke, and Kentucky.
What's UConn's budget?
$24 million.
For basketball alone. UNM's overall athletic budget, I want to say, is somewhere in the area of 39 million, 38 million. Overall athletic budget. That's insane. Good for them.
And then you look at the Aztecs are just under 8 million. And then what I'm looking at is just the NCAA tournament teams. As you're trying to figure all this stuff out. And I think that you're right. The mid-major term is used to put everyone in this box. That's used to talk about, oh man, it was unbelievable what you're able to do because you don't have the money. And I think part of that is true, because we're just trying to figure out where that line is. But high major for multiple bid conferences makes a whole lot of sense.
Do you like the term? Are you down with it?
And I think high major conference makes a lot of sense, and it really does work, because you can't just say everything's a mid-major. You can't look at New Mexico and compare it to, as you said, like the SWAC and things like that. And just because they're not power conferences, they're all the same. They're not. There's 300 some odd teams. There's a lot of differences between these schools.
Yeah, I would argue that while it's about money, to me, the semantics that we would play here, the labeling, the game, the verbiage, would be more about success, right? I don't know what the West Coast Conference teams outside of Gonzaga spend on basketball. I don't even know, what the Mountain West does, to be honest with you. All I know is I watched 4 teams in the Mountain West End, 2 teams in the West Coast Conference. I watched Conference USA have an insanely good, and those teams are all going to the American, insanely good postseason. I watched a number 1 seed out of the American in Houston this year. Memphis was very good. And so I would say it's partially based on money, but really on performance. And, what does the A10 spend? The A10 is not a mid-major, right? I mean, that's VCU, and there's some really good teams in the A10, the Atlantic 10. And so I think, I don't know, JJ, I mentioned it to the conference, and that might be something in the spring meetings next month in Scottsdale that they kind of emphasize with the coaches. Hey,
branding,
it's gotta come from you guys, right? You gotta trumpet this, where this is not a mid-major league. Nothing against Farley Dickinson and St. Peter's and the people who play in that league, or Texas Southern or anybody else. But we've proven now that there is another level. And are we trying to create a separation? I imagine, yeah, because with all due respect, you've been separated from what is thought to be, quote unquote, the the top, right, in the power conferences. And so there's got to be another tier in semantics. And what's semantics worth? JJ, it's messaging, and perception is reality in so much. And I don't know that I realize that any more than this week being with the national media who are like, oh my goodness, how can this happen? Well, for crying out loud, it's been happening for 20 years with that program, right? They've been to the Sweet 16. This is the third time. It's been happening. How does this sneak up on you and bite you in the ass? And it's all about, to me, it's about messaging.
And it absolutely matters. If you don't think it does, there was a time over the last few years that the American Athletic Conference, around a football conversation, somehow, some way pulled in front of the other non-power conferences, and everyone was looking at them, and they had success. You know, they had a team like Cincinnati, what they were able to do to get into the Final Four. But it's messaging on a national landscape. When you look at the way teams are talked about, how they're thought about, that's where it starts. And it's not a crazy thing. It's not something that doesn't make a lot of sense if you're the Mountain West continuing to make your mark with this run that San Diego State just went on. Conference USA is thinking the same exact thing this morning, is how do we capitalize on this with those teams going to the American Athletic Conference? It's important. And it's the little things that can become a bigger part of the story. And it's about capitalizing on this moment for these schools, FAU, San Diego State, and their conferences.
There's another national narrative that I want to dispel when we come back, and I was listening to it on the way out of there, and I'm just hoping to goodness it does not catch fire, although it's got a lot of momentum. But I'm just going to tell you, more mediocrity does not make it better. What does that mean? I'll explain it to you next on the opening drive on 95.9 FM and AM 610, the Sports Animal.
This report is sponsored by
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
We fight the battles no one hears about.
We drop into the middle of firefights to rescue others.
And act as one-man air traffic control towers.
We're the ones who go before all others.
U.S. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
Dream style stucco. Stucco is the way to go. A Southwest tradition, beautiful and durable. The perfect combination. Your favorite color, your favorite texture. You're gonna love it when they put it all together. Through any weather, nothing looks better. From the smooth to the rough, they really know their stuff. Nobody does stucco like Dream style stucco.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walk up to the cashier, order up a root beer and a number one. Cover it with green stuff, one scoop is not enough. Find a booth is real tough, back by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot, it's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
As a mom, I try to make the best choices for my family and our health. That's why I choose Western Sky Community Care. It's a Medicaid plan with quality health coverage and special benefits like Boys and Girls Club membership credit, additional dental benefits, and wellness and support programs. I decide which Medicaid plan is right for us. I choose Western Sky Community Care.
Learn more about Western Sky Community Care by visiting discoverwesternsky.com today.
Sometimes it's the small things that make life easier, like never worrying about being declined at an ATM when only cash will do. With your coverage from US Eagle, we'll cover you, even if the money's not there. That's a good feeling. and we do it with no extra fees or penalties. It's called trust, and we think that's important, especially if we're asking you to trust us. At U.S. Eagle, that's just part of what it means when we say people mean more.
Check it out.
What is it?
It's a time machine, bro. I could jump into the future, get my paycheck early.
I already get my paycheck early at US Eagle.
Get your paycheck up to 2 days early with U.S. Eagle Early Payday. Now's a great time to have your checking with U.S. Eagle.
Time machine.
Your girlfriend breaks up with you in 22 hours, 53 minutes.
Wait, what? Seth?
These are more than just the sounds of a safe place to go after school. These are the sounds of interest being ignited and of mentors making an impact. At Boys and Girls Clubs, we don't do just one thing. We do whatever it takes to meet the needs of every kid who comes through those doors. Because whatever it takes is what it takes to build great futures. Great futures start here.
Don't sacrifice quality of flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, green and red chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier Cinnabons. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenpride@abq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs, proud supporter of ProView Sports Network.
Hi everyone, my name is Master Sergeant Jacob Groves. I am a Air Force Special Warfare Pararescueman.
Sports animal.
So how was the tournament? How'd you like it? Did you like the way it was? Did you like the run? Did you like the way it played out? Most people, and I think most people thought this was a really fun tournament. But JJ, I was rolling out of the arena last night, and I was listening actually to CBS Sports Radio and listening to some of the stuff. And the national take was somehow it wasn't good because San Diego State wasn't good enough to play UConn to give us the final that we wanted. And I started thinking about it. Really? So was Miami not good enough to play UConn? Was Gonzaga not good enough, or Arkansas not good enough, or St. Mary's or Iona? Because UConn ran through everybody. And in fact, what I just watched was a game that was a 5-point game at the 5:19 mark. Opening drive, Jeff Symbieta, JJ Buck. So, JJ, because this was the one danger of having San Diego State in this game. The national narrative, the guy who was screaming at me on my way home about the Power Five, by the way, he's like, it drove me nuts. So this is why his argument was we need to expand the tournament. And I'm so adamantly against it. I think it may happen, but we got to go to 96. If they're not going to have quality, the way you fix not having quality is you add quantity. And I'm like, wait a minute. So what you're telling me is it's mediocre, is what I'm hearing. And so by adding more mediocrity, somehow you're going to make it better. You add 3 or 4 more Power 5 teams, is what he was saying. Power 5 is not a basketball term. I was screaming at it, right? And then a couple mid majors can get in here and there, and you got everything you want. You're more because it's not quality, because all the best players are going to the NBA, and so the way you fix it is you add more quantity. And I'm like, what are you saying, you freaking maroon? It was driving me nuts.
I love your impression of the East Coast accent, Jeff.
Well, I mean, it's like every radio show from the East Coast, isn't it?
I know.
So add more Power, quote, 5. By the way, the Big East is the best league in America, and he doesn't even count them. And somehow adding more mediocrity is going to make it better because why? San Diego State lost by 17 when Gonzaga lost bigger, Arkansas lost bigger. This team ran through everybody. And San Diego State gave them the best game they had, maybe since Iona played them pretty tough too.
Yeah, I don't think if there's expansion, then you fold the whole NIT field in. Like, I've been thinking about that since yesterday. I think there's probably like a happy medium that you could meet.
Well, it wouldn't be that, right? They wouldn't do that.
Yeah, because there's been some people that are quote unquote mid-major people that have some good theories about this, that have ideas. One of them is actually Kim Pomeroy, one of the major names in basketball.
Yeah.
They're saying expansion wouldn't necessarily mean more power conference teams just to flood the field with it. And I still think that you want a special feeling to go to the NCAA tournament. And just expanding it to have more power conference teams in there, those teams can have bad nights as well. Those teams are not going to win 6-7 games in a row just because they're from a power conference. What UConn did to everyone they played this tournament was special for them, and it's going to be a historic run when you think about the way they beat everybody. But because San Diego State couldn't keep up with them, that is weak. That is what you expect from people who get on and think there's two cities in this country. It's Los Angeles, it's New York, and anything else in between doesn't exist.
I think that's good, and I'd like to listen to the theories. Do you think San Diego State embarrassed themselves last night?
No.
I mean, the game was a 17-point game, and, I mean, was it an all-time great game? It was not. It was not. They were within 5 with 5 minutes, 5:19 to go. They didn't embarrass themselves.
It did not feel like TCU.
And so that's kind of where I was going with this, right? 65-7, TCU got beaten the BCS, the College Football Playoff Championship game. And there was a second where I was thinking that, whoa, what a year this is going to be, right? There was a second I thought about that. Let me ask you this. If, I don't know, pick a name brand. If that was UCLA who got beat like that last night, or Gonzaga, or Arkansas, would we be having the same conversation? Because they did that to Gonzaga, and they did that to Miami, and they did that, by the way, worse. They beat Gonzaga, Miami, Arkansas, Connecticut did, worse than they beat San Diego State last night. But somehow we're having the narrative because, well, with San Diego State, they couldn't hang out of the Mountain West Conference, so we've got to expand the tournament because why? Like, they rolled through everybody. This is the fourth biggest average margin of victory for an NCAA tournament champion. They won by 20 points a game. San Diego State was inside that number, 17. I lose my mind sometimes, JJ Amory, listening to these guys tell me, and somehow because it was San Diego State, that we've got to expand it and get more mediocrity in there. So that was
the wrong word to use, mediocrity. But
no, they didn't use it. I used it. That's my translation.
Okay, gotcha.
But how else do you say let's bring in more 20 and 14 teams, or 19 and 14 teams? I mean, give me a better word.
Sums it up.
Yeah.
I mean, they didn't use that word. That was my word. But it's like, okay, let's just expand it because somehow we'll get more Power 5 teams in there. It's garbage is what it is. It's garbage. Basura is what it is. That's what it is. All right. Perspectives on the transfer portal and what it means and why the tears were flowing at the post-game press conference. Opening drive continues from Houston and Albuquerque on 95.9 FM and AM 670 Sports Animal.
Blast. We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
We fight the battles no one hears about.
We drop into the middle of firefights to rescue others.
And act as one-man air traffic control towers.
We're the ones who go before all others.
U.S. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
Dream Style Stucco. Stucco is the way to go. A Southwest tradition, beautiful and durable. The perfect combination. Your favorite color, your favorite texture. You're gonna love it when they put it all together. Through any weather, nothing looks better from From the smooth to the rough, they really know their stuff. Nobody does stucco like Dream Style Stucco.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walking to the cashier, order up a root beer and a number one. Cover it with green stuff, one scoop is not enough. Find a booth is real tough, back by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot, it's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
As a mom, I try to make the best choices for my family and our health. That's why I choose Western Sky Community Care. It's a Medicaid plan with quality health coverage and special benefits like Boys and Girls Club membership credit, additional dental benefits, and wellness and support programs. I decide which Medicaid plan is right for us. I choose Western Sky Community Care.
Learn more about Western Sky Community Care by visiting discoverwesternsky.com today.
Sometimes it's the small things that make life easier, like never worrying about being declined at an ATM when only cash will do. With You're Covered from US Eagle, we'll cover you, even if the money's not there. That's a good feeling. And we do it with no extra fees or penalties. It's called trust, and we think that's important, especially if we're asking you to trust us. At US Eagle, that's just part of what it means when we say people mean more.
Check it out.
What is it?
It's a time machine, bro. I could jump into the future, get my paycheck early.
I already get my paycheck early at US Eagle.
Get your paycheck up to 2 days early with US Eagle Early Payday. Now's a great time to have your checking with US Eagle.
Time machine.
Your girlfriend breaks up with you in 22 hours, 53 minutes.
Wait, what? Seth?
Now, voted the best sports show in New Mexico for 5 years running. Don't sweat the technique. This is the opening drive with three-time New Mexico Sportscaster of the Year, Jeff Symbieta, A. Marie Castillo, and JJ Voss. The technique.
College basketball season comes to an end last night here in Houston. 76-59, Connecticut beat San Diego State. They cut down nets to the Huskies for the fifth time in the last 24 years. The most in that period, man. The last quarter of a century, the best program in America. It's been the UConn Huskies, and they were terrific last night beating San Diego State. So we're having a conversation, and I got another thought on this. If you're just joining us, as I was rolling out of NRG Stadium yesterday, I was listening to this network, CBS Sports Radio, and telling me why we should expand the NCAA tournament and that we should add more Power 5 teams, which is not a term in basketball. And JJ, the other argument, and I didn't even bring this up in the last segment, I wanted to see what you think, and Anne-Marie. The argument was nobody cares about college basketball until March. That people only care, and maybe we're living in our bubble, and so I want to widen my perspective on this because I disagree with it. But nobody cares until the conference tournament. They start paying attention, and then the response. This was kind of a direct quote. But then when we all get our brackets, we fill them out. Then everybody knows, everybody cares. That's what they care about basketball. So if there were more teams and you add more Power 5 teams, I'm like, what are we doing?
That doesn't change that narrative at all.
No.
Like if you don't care earlier, what is adding more power teams at the end going to make you care earlier?
Sense.
Well, I 100% agree, but his point is, well, there'll be more, and then more people care. Do you think college basketball is a 1 month sport, a month and a half sport?
I do think a lot more people pay attention when conference tournaments come into play. Majority.
Well, certainly. I mean, so everything gets a boost.
It's not
in
your
the playoffs.
priority.
Look,
in the fall.
Even the NFL gets a boost in the playoffs, but the NFL is a different beast, right? More people, now that college basketball is over, will start watching the NBA because the playoffs start next week, and the NHL, right? I think every sport that happens. Does college basketball have a problem the rest of the season? Because I would tell you, I think once you turn the page after college football playoff championship, right, where you're in NFL playoffs, I think, and conference play starts, I think that's when the majority of sports fan somewhat starts letting college basketball enter their conscious.
Yeah, it's February and then
January,
conference tournaments.
February, March. Yeah, January, February, March.
I don't think it's January at all.
No.
'Cause I think
You
that's
don't?
NFL.
Football.
We are
Okay.
we're too deep in it. Like
Okay.
it matters to us. It matters
In our market.
But it's the whole more people will care if there's more power conference teams. That doesn't change non-conference play. Like college basketball is always going to have an uphill battle in non-conference play. It just is. Like there'll be its moments, and it's market based. It's a lot like Major League Baseball, where wherever you are, it's going to matter more than in other places. And it's, you talk about it all the time, Jeff. There's a rolling sports calendar that gets our attention, and there's nothing that you do in March. There's nothing that you're going to do that will magnify non-conference college basketball.
Well, and this is so good right now. No, and you'll get right. There's all these tournaments that are up there, and there's good matchups in November, December. The Maui Invitational was great, right? But you're right. We're kind of looking somewhere else. Ryan just sent me a note, and he said the college football playoff is a perfect example. You can't convince me that the college football playoff would have been different than it was the last 8 seasons, even with 8 teams playing. The best team won every single season. Do you think if this was a 96-team field, that the champion would be someone different than UConn?
Yeah, it's a possibility because it's a one-off tournament.
So there'd just be more teams in there.
Yeah, it's not. There wouldn't necessarily be better teams. Like a good team can be a great team on any given night. Like
okay, yeah, no, you're right.
Look at what we see. It's the whole point of why we love this tournament.
Why Furman beat Virginia? Why Princeton
Playoffs
beat Purdue?
do not. When you have one and done, playoff situations, you don't get the best team winning.
I think we did this time. I think we did in football
I
this
think
year.
when you look at UConn, in this case, they were the best team, and usually those teams come to the top. But Fairleigh Dickinson's not a better basketball team than Purdue. But they
didn't win a championship. Yeah, they didn't win a championship though. Right? They won a game. They didn't win a championship. I think in football, college football playoff, we did. I think in basketball, we did. Jeff sent me a text, said, good topic when it comes to basketball. He said, when I was at CBS, all our guys in national media at these events, all they talked about was the Big East and ACC. Everything west of Jersey, no one took serious. Even when Utah, UCLA, and Arizona were making runs, it was always about the East Coast school. He said, I always said the biggest reason most of the national media, including CBS guys, graduated from East Coast schools, maybe Michigan, so they didn't give us any credit. But he says, I can't imagine CBS and TBS would want expansion between production costs and ad revenue. More games means more ad inventory. I don't think the revenues are out there. So you're just diluting the revenue, the games and the ratings, causing more production costs. Can't imagine the broadcasters who pay the rights fees would support this. I think they would. See, that's where I think I totally agree with him on the national perspective and where these guys come from. But I just think there's an appetite for sponsors wanting to get in. I do believe, and that's why the expansion would happen, that there would be more revenue, there'd be more people, more advertisers, more Lilly commercials, and more Charles Barkley and Spike Lee commercials. And
yeah, I was a little worried when we got the Charles Barkley pregame guarantee.
Is he wearing a big Aztec hat?
I was like, uh-oh.
Yeah.
That usually doesn't work out well for Charles.
Yeah, no, he's not the best at those. It's just really, really interesting. As far as, I don't know what the perspective is, and I don't know how you change it, man. But you know what? I'll tell you how you change it. You win sometimes. And the last team to cut down nets from the Mountain or Pacific time zone was Arizona. How many years ago? Right? I mean, that's the way you change the perspective. If Gonzaga or San Diego State or UCLA can cut down the nets once or twice, you can start changing that perspective. But until then, I understand it. But man, I hope they don't expand. I think the tournament's so good.
If anything, I would just want to see more bubble teams playing in. Like that would be it.
Okay, so you had a point earlier. You said rolling in the NIT. So I don't think that's what it would be, because rolling in the NIT would mean all of the regular season champions of those one bid leagues who did not win their conference tournament, right? They would get in. So you'd have seen, for instance, Utah Valley. Now, did Utah Valley prove to be a pretty good team? Yeah, they were a good NIT team. They went to the Final Four. Should Utah Valley have been in the NCAA tournament? I don't know. I don't know what they would have done in a first-round matchup against, pick it. Who would have been, right? But it'd have been, how would they have, I don't know. But I just hope they don't. It says NCAA regular season basketball. It's all about alumni and local markets. NCAA tournament brings in that fifth quintile viewer. So is college basketball like baseball?
Yes, it is.
It's kind of like baseball regular season, so it matters in some markets. So how does college basketball give me a major league market with a good team? And I know how UCLA resonates in LA, and it gets lost. San Diego doesn't have an NFL team, right? The Padres end in September before basketball starts. Give me Tucson doesn't have one. Give me a power, like Charlotte. Carolina's not really in Charlotte. Give me a major market with a good college basketball team. I wonder how that plays. Or is that why the good college basketball teams are in Lexington, Kentucky, and Chapel Hill, and Raleigh-Durham, and in Connecticut, and in, right?
Yeah, there's a lot of that.
It's interesting. When Richard Pitino says, I want to go somewhere where basketball matters, where it's a basketball school, you come here and you're kind of it, right?
You are.
Kentucky, you're kind of it, right? Providence. It's interesting how that all plays out. All right, there's other...
(505-246-0610) 377 Brewery hotline and text line for you to get involved this morning. What does it mean for the Mountain West? What does it mean college basketball? It's the opening drive here on 95.9 FM AM 610, the Sports Animal.
This report is sponsored by...
Too strong. It's going to be a rebound there by Brown. Brown gets it in. Bucket there by Alter.
Crossover for Jackson. Salas steals the rebound and finds a cutting Mitchell at the rim.
Great move.
It's almost even in the foul territory, and the Cueva looking to take advantage. Said Yates draws the foul, and one opportunity is said, gives the muscles down.
And it's 11-4, 38. Another turnover by Rio Grande. Montoya off the glass, up and in, back-to-back layups for the Demons.
Oh, it's thrown away again by Valdez. Valdez going to bring it out.
Valdez has to have around 3 or 4 steals. 3 by Mays.
Bingo! That one rattles in for Alyssa Mays, and the All-District Player of the Year has 12.
Penetrates, no foul call. Rodriguez lines one up and knocks down the 3. First basket of the night.
To back it out.
Look at this deep 3.
Wow! That was from NBA range.
What a steal. Stevison 2-on-1, gets up, gets it in.
He doesn't use it, comes back out to Dominguez, who takes a 3. Boom! There's that man, Superman.
shoots off. Oh, he made that.
Wow. That was crazy. That was a crazy shot.
Has everybody on him. Now he got open.
Open look for a three, and that's what he does. A three for Dennerclaw. His first bucket of the game. And that's a three, and it'll count at the buzzer.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
Sometimes it's the small things that make life easier, like never worrying about being declined at an ATM when only cash will do. With You're Covered from US Eagle, we'll cover you, even if the money's not there. That's a good feeling. And we do it with no extra fees or penalties. It's called trust, and we think that's important, especially if we're asking you to trust us. At US Eagle, that's just part of what it means when we say people mean more.
Don't sacrifice quality and flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, green and red chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier Cinnabons. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenpride@abq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs, proud supporter of ProView Sports Network.
These are more than just the sounds of a safe place to go after school. These are the sounds of interest being ignited and of mentors making an impact. At Boys and Girls Clubs, we don't do just one thing. We do whatever it takes to meet the needs of every kid who comes through those doors. Because whatever it takes is what it takes to build great futures. Great futures start here.
Check it out.
What is it?
It's a time machine, bro. I could jump into the future, get my paycheck early.
I already get my paycheck early at US Eagle.
Get your paycheck. Animal.
Dr. Jim's be back in. Remember Dr. Jim used to be in all the time, JJ?
Oh, it's been a minute. Guess
Just heard from Dr. Jim. Yeah, he said, "Oh, it's happening, sweetheart."
Oh, it is happening indeed. It's happening. That is, computer makes it to the end of the national championship game. Opening drive, JJ Buck, Jeff
You think it will?
in Houston. Amory with you, 505-246-0670, 377 Brewery Hotline, and text line. The future. That's a question from this, because in the moment, it was fantastic. And I think what San Diego State FAU did is it reignited the hope that as college athletics has changed over the last few years. And there's a lot of frustration, people not happy with the transfer portal, unsure what to do with NIL, that there's an opportunity, an avenue to compete for everyone. And I think Brian Dutcher spoke on it last night when he said that you don't need millions in NIL money. We know the power conference teams are still going to do their thing. And that, you know, there's still going to be the money that they can invest. But I really feel, and it's one of those things, are we just too deep in the moment? Are we too deep, you know, in the forest to see the trees? I think that this NCAA tournament kind of reignited that hope, that faith that you put in, especially college basketball, can be rewarded at a high level.
It can, and I think it was proven. Yeah, I think it was proven. I want to finish that point, then we'll go to phones. Dr. Jim said, it's happening, sweetheart. Coaches want it, administrators want it, and they'll wrap it in. We want more of the little guys in there. He said they'll use the college football defense. 2/3 of the teams make a bowl. And my argument would be this isn't a bowl game. I mean, this is your plan for a national championship. Bowl games, you're not. Only 4, now we're going to 12. And I said, because coaches all get bonuses athleticism going to the tournament. And he said, bingo. Coaches want to say they're successful. ADs want to say they're successful. True TV will pay for another weekend of relevance. NBA has play-in tournaments. 10 of the 15, he said 16, but 10 of the 15 teams get in. NFL added a 7th. It's inevitable. And I just think it's a bad reason to fix something that's so damn good and not broken. But we'll see. I think he's right. That's where it's going. Brian, let's go to the phones. 505-246-0610. Brian, good morning. You're on the Sports Outlet. Hi, Brian.
Thanks for taking my call. Hey, guys, I was really, when San Diego State got it down to 5 last night, I thought, here we go, right on. But the better team did win. But really, more importantly, what I wanted to talk about, how do you see the transfer portal? I see it. There's good and there's going to be bad with it, and pros and cons, whatever, But I really do think it's going to help a lot of these conferences and level the playing field. I mean, these kids, there's only so many kids on a team in basketball, and I think it's really going to make a big difference for the Mountain West and other conferences. What do you guys think?
Well, Brian, I do. I think it's one that there's positives and negatives about everything. And when we're looking at the transfer portal, there's going to be some guys that make a decision, some men and women, that it doesn't work out on the other side. But I think the benefit of the transfer portal is for everyone, especially the student athletes, because it's just one-time transfer. And the reason that we're seeing the numbers be so crazy right now is the extra year of eligibility. So we get 3-4 years down the line into the next recruiting cycle, and it's going to settle down a bit. You're still going to have large numbers in the transfer portal. But right now we have a lot of players looking for their third and heck, maybe even fourth school because of that extra year of eligibility from the COVID season. We're still going to see the transfer portal, a lot of movement, but it's going to feel less chaotic. It's going to feel less like what you just dealt with this year. Because I think Josiah Alec,
6-year guys,
a lot of people
right?
off guard because he had that extra year from COVID. And so you're used to guys kind of having 5 to play 4. Well, now you're having 5 6-year guys. I think it's going to benefit schools, to Brian's point. I think you're going to be able to find players that help you out. And you got to play the game, man. It's here. You got to be able to play that transfer portal game.
Yeah, the 6th-year guys, because of the COVID, kind of, I mean, you would think after 5 years, most of them are graduating, right?
Yeah.
You would hope. And so that basically added a second free transfer, if that makes sense, JJ. Because, so just so you understand the rule, and I know many of you do, but some of you don't. I don't want to dumb it down too much. Everybody gets one free transfer. Free transfer means you can transfer once in your 5 years to play 4 without burning a red shirt. But you would get a second one if you graduate. So the graduate transfer is still a deal. If you've graduated academically and you transfer to a school that offers a master's program that your current school does not, and you always find one to go play basketball, then you get a free transfer. And that's where these second ones are coming in, and you're seeing guys go to a lot of different schools. What do we have, one more year now of the COVID eligibility on this?
Yeah, so it's anyone that was on a roster in 2020. So there's still going to be a year or two.
There's another year or two left, yeah.
Trickling through. And that's kind of what made it extra crazy. Is you get like a Josiah Alec who can go one and done because he transfers, but then graduates and then has that extra transfer. And the numbers are still going to be high, but it's going to calm down in terms of bloated rosters and guys looking for, second, third, fourth chances just because they're going to be out of them at that point in time.
I think that kind of flowed into the emotion. I know this. I teased this earlier in the press conference last night. So I was watching. There were a lot of tears. San Diego State brought 4 guys into the press conference. They brought Matt Bradley, Guaca Rope, Adam Seiko, and Nathan Mensah, and veteran guys. And JJ, there was tears. Matt Bradley told a story, and I know we got a sweet deal, and we'll get to this in just a moment. But Matt Bradley told a story, and he was in tears, JJ, on the podium, and he transferred from Cal, and he said, coming out of COVID, he said, I was done. He said, I just kind of convinced myself, man, it's been a good run, but I'm done. I'm going to hang it up, and I'm going to go get a job, and I'm going to go on with my life. And he said, and he looked at Coach Brian Dutcher, and he said, Coach Dutcher convinced me to come, and what it meant to him. But Matt Bradley was done. He was a good player in the Pac-12, and he said last night, JJ, it was COVID. I was done, and Coach Dutch called and included me. A Guacarope, one of those 5-6 year guys, said it was in tears that it was ending because of everything you've been through. When you go back and look at this group, not just San Diego State, but this group of student athletes who played through the pandemic and got the extra year and all that stuff, it's going to be an unprecedented time in college athletics. And obviously, everything that had to do with the pandemic. But the tears on that stage last night, JJ, were insane.
Yeah, the Bradley story I thought was really fascinating. That this kind of highlights what the last 3 to 4 years has been like, not just for everyone, but these student athletes when you're going through that COVID year where everything is shut down. And I know Matt Bradley is not the only one. So many people, and specifically student athletes, are questioning, are we going to come back for this? Are we going to continue to play? What is that decision going to be? And he decided to continue to play. Wound up at San Diego State and was playing a national championship game last night.
Yeah, he flat out said, I thought it was over, man. He said, I talked to myself, and I said, all right, man, you've had a good run. Let's go get a job. I know you got a job to do in there.
Oh, I got a great thing to talk about this morning. It is our sweet deal. And, of course, our sweet deals, they go live on our website at 9 a.m., sportsanimalabq.com. And this morning, Kevin is joining us from Sunday Service Motor Company. It's a coffee shop. You can get craft beer. But the coolest thing, Kevin, is you guys do everything in-house, from the coffee to the beer, and it's going to be a great experience.
Yeah,
when it comes down.
Yeah, thanks for having me on today. Correct. Yeah, we're a coffee shop. We're a brewery. We're also a do-it-yourself motorcycle garage. So we call that the community garage. And you kind of hit the nail on the head. We're roasting everything in-house. We're brewing our own beer. And me and my business partner, we started this with a focus on community and collaboration. And so we really want to focus on the collaboration around coffee, collaborating around the beers that we have, and providing a space for that community to meet up and just have fun. So a good example of that is our Wednesday night bike night. It's where ride in. We have a special on drinks, a special on beers from 6 to 9 every Wednesday. Get some food, hang out with some people that like riding bikes, like looking at bikes, like just hanging out with good people. And so we're trying to build those types of those types of meetups and those types of spaces for people to really be able to build their community.
And I love that, because you're always looking. I'm a motorcycle rider myself, and sometimes you're just looking for quick places to go, hang out. You just want to get out on a bike. You just want to kind of get away. You don't always want to have to think about going on one of those long rides. And this is right here in the city, guys, right down here on 4th near Manal.
Yeah, we're right north of Manal on 4th Street, so right next door to Marion Tito's. If that seems to be the landmark everybody knows. So
yeah, so our sweet deal for this $25, you're gonna get $50 worth of gift certificates for Sunday Service Motor Company, and it works for everything: the beer, the coffee.
We've got some fun merch. We've got our the coffee beans that Garden Co roasts on site. Those are for sale as well. But yeah, come on down. And really, if you have the sweet deal, it works for anything in the shop. And grab a cup of coffee, grab some beer, and look at the space.
Yeah, and what's awesome about it is it's just a sense of community. It's kind of coming together. What really drove you to have that as the backing for it?
Yeah, that's something that both me and my business partner hold dear. It's having spaces for people to really just be together and enjoy time together. It's one of our favorite things and a driver or a passion of ours for everything that we do. And so kind of within the name Sunday Service Motor Company, I've felt that growing up and throughout my life on Sunday afternoons. And so this space is really trying to bring that to every day of the week, right? So we're open at 7 every day, 7 for coffee, beer starts at 11, and trying to bring that Sunday afternoon feeling every day of the week.
Well, you'll definitely see me there. I know you're going to see a lot of our sports animals out there. It's our sweet deal. Goes live at 9 a.m. for $25. You get yourself $50 to use at Sunday Service Motor Company, sportsanimalabq.com. Kevin, appreciate it, man.
Appreciate it.
Thanks for joining us. We'll see you out there. It is the opening drive here on 95.9 FM, AM 610, the Sports Animal.
Northbound I-25.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
Hi everyone, my name is Master Sergeant Jacob Groves. I am a Air Force Special Warfare pararescueman. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Network and New Mexico Youth Sports. Air Force Special Warfare operators are critical thinkers. They maintain a high level of fitness, they take initiative, and they don't quit. For more information on Air Force Special Warfare, contact me at the number listed below.
U.S. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
Check it out.
What is it?
It's a time machine, bro. I could jump into the future, get my paycheck early.
I already get my paycheck early at US Eagle.
Get your paycheck up to 2 days early with US Eagle Early Payday. Now's a great time to have your checking with US Eagle.
Time machine.
Your girlfriend breaks up with you in 22 hours, 53 minutes.
Wait, what?
Seth?
These are more than just the sounds of a safe place to go after school. These are the sounds of interest being ignited and of mentors making an impact. At Boys and Girls Clubs, we don't do just one thing. We do whatever it takes to meet the needs of every kid who comes through those doors. Because whatever it takes is what it takes to build great futures. Great futures start here.
We fight the battles no one hears about.
We drop into the middle of firefights to rescue others.
And act as one-man air traffic control towers. We're the ones who go before all others.
U.S. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walking to the cashier, order up a root beer and a number one. Cover it with green stuff, one scoop is not enough. Find a booth is real tough, back by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot, it's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
Sometimes it's the small things that make life easier, like never worrying about being declined at an ATM when only cash will do. With your covered from US Eagle, we'll cover you, even if the money's not there. That's a good feeling, and we do it with no extra fees or penalties. It's called trust, and we think that's important, especially if we're asking you to trust us. At US Eagle, that's just part of what it means when we say people mean more.
Hi everyone, my name is Master Sergeant Jacob Groves. I am a Air Force Special Warfare pararescueman. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Network and New Mexico Youth Sports. Air Force Special Warfare operators are critical thinkers, they maintain a high level of fitness, they take initiative, and they don't quit. For more information on Air Force Special Warfare, contact me at the number listed below.
U.S. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
These are more than just the sounds of a safe place to go after school. These are the sounds of interest being ignited and of mentors making an impact. At Boys and Girls Clubs, we don't do just one thing. We do whatever it takes to meet the needs of every kid who comes through those doors. Because whatever it takes is what it takes to build great futures. Great futures start here.
We fight the battles no one hears about.
We drop into the middle of firefights to rescue others.
And act as one-man air traffic control towers.
We're the ones who go before all others.
U.S. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
As a mom, I try to make the best choices for my family and our health. That's why I choose Western Sky Community Care. It's a Medicaid plan with quality health coverage and special benefits like Boys and Girls Club membership credit, additional dental benefits, and wellness and support programs. I decide which Medicaid plan is right for us. I choose Western Sky Community Care.
Learn more about Western Sky Community Care by visiting discoverwesternsky.com today.
Don't sacrifice quality and flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, green and red chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier Cinnabons. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenpride@abq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs, proud supporter of ProView Sports Network.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
Everguard Roofing and Solar. For nearly 20 years, Everguard Roofing and Solar has been working with New Mexicans to enhance their homes and businesses.
Hey, it's opening day at the ballpark. And first look at your soccer club today. We're going to get into that. It's the opening drive. Jeff, JJ, A. Marie. The text line's open for you at 505-246-0610. It's the same number as the 377 Brewery hotline. So, JJ, a couple things on here. It says, this was a great run. UConn was just a better team. We're talking about the NCAA tournament. UConn beat San Diego State 76-59. And then this is all from the same number. And it's a person who likes to call me out, and I'm good with that. But, JJ, so it says, Jeff is making too much of San Diego State's latest tournament run, especially calling out the use of the term mid-major. Didn't the Mountain West have all its teams lose in the tournament last year? In fact, SDSU's previous Sweet 16 result, a loss, was years ago. Additionally, the Mountain West as a conference is mediocre at best tournament-wise. No wonder SDSU is likely to leave the Mountain West, leaving the touted, hyped Boise State in the Mountain West. Okay, so I'll yield to you. Are we, or in this case me, because it's all me, making too much of San Diego State making a run to the national championship game? Is that just like a little blip, or are we making too much of that?
You can't make too much of it. Could it be the only one that ever happens? Yes, that's a possibility, but it doesn't mean you ignore it. You try to build off of it. You try to use it if you're San Diego State, because you can forever. The rest of the Mountain West Conference showing you can be successful, you can go on a run. Like, those little things matter, and they add up to big things. I know people on the outside, they only care about one thing, and that's results, and I understand that. But there's a bigger picture. There's a part to the process to get there where a school from your conference going to the national championship game resonates for everyone.
Let me ask you about results. I mean, there's 360 teams. 2 teams played last night. Getting to the national championship, like the whole sport is built around the Final Four, right? The whole freaking sport. So a run to the Final Four feels like a pretty big thing. And so I don't know. Do you make too much of that? I mean, a run to the Final Four feels pretty big, and playing for the national championship
the only
feels
reason we ever uttered George Mason still.
Right? So
it propelled Butler to the Big East. And could San Diego State do that? Absolutely, and lead the Mountain West Conference. But the Mountain West Conference is in a better position than the Horizon League was, or even the Atlantic 10, for that matter.
All right, so let me hit on the term, and this is why to the texter. So the term mid-major, I know, strikes, and I was sitting with people from the conference, and it really bothered them. That's why I brought it up, and that's why I think the term high major makes more sense. Do you as much as you want to rip on the Mountain West and all these things that you said are true. Now, they did get 4 teams into the tournament each of the last 2 years, and only 1 team has won. But do you really believe that this league is on the same level as, would you say, the Summit League, the Northeast Conference, the MEAC, pick it, the SWAC? They're not. The television deal alone that the Mountain West has, JJ, the fact that Lobo Fan, I believe every game in conference was on either Fox Sports 1 or CBS Sports this year, correct?
Yes,
every conference game. Okay, the fact alone that your league has that television deal puts it above, status-wise, other quote-unquote mid-major leagues. And so, I mean, if you've got a problem with that, that's cool. I mean, you can tell me the league stinks and whatever. I'm going to tell you I think you're wrong to say the league stinks. They got 4 teams in. They got 1 team in the championship game. They don't. Are they a power? Are they the Big East? Are they the SEC? They're not. But you know who wasn't in the final or the Final Four? Was the SEC, the Big Ten, the Big 12, the Pac-12. Now, was it a 1-year deal? Yeah, it was as of now. Does that mean the league's on its way? I don't know. We'll see. But to say that you're making too much of it, I don't know how you make too much of a run to the national championship.
Not make too much of a run in the national championship game. San Diego State should live on this moment for the rest of their lives. This is what you scream at your grandkids about. I remember in 2023 in San Diego State, and you're like, all right, whatever.
Yeah, shut up, Grandpa.
Like these are the moments that live on forever. Yeah. You can poo-poo it all you want, say the Mountain West sucks, this or that, but it's the little building blocks that the Aztecs are the ones that can benefit the most from this, of course. But the Mountain West does as well, because it's not a single bid league. There's opportunities in this league, even when San Diego State decides to move on to go to the Big 12 or Pac-12, that you can say, hey, we can do it. And those little things add up. It's about building blocks. And I know people don't want to hear that stuff. It's not flashy. It's not the hot take of it. But it's the little things that you just try to build on to get yourself in, try to find that moment. And in this day and age, everyone can do it. Everyone can do it.
Text line says San Diego State beat the number 1 team in the nation, Alabama. What? It was an incredible run. This one says, we saw this movie 25 years ago with Utah in the old WAC at the time versus Kentucky. Maybe. Yeah, and the league hadn't been back in a quarter century. We'll see. We'll see. Mike, you want to talk about it? Let's go to the phones. You're on the Sports Animal. Hello, Mike.
Hey, another great day. Florida, kind of, in Albuquerque. But, hey, my question is based around money and coaches. And actually maybe even the conference. When they start having their meetings, it's obvious. I guess my first question would be is how much money did their run bring to individual teams in the league and to the conference itself? We'll start off with that.
JJ, what's the number? It's like 200 and something per unit. It's per unit, Mike. And so I think when it's all said and done, I think like UNM over the next 6 years is going to get, I believe, is the number $250,000 per year over the next 6 years?
Oh.
I believe that's the number. I'll find it for you.
So even saying that, even anything close to that, that's right there. When we start looking at the league across the board, and when they start losing coaches because they're not getting paid enough, how important is it to get teams in the big tournament to pay the coaches what it's going to take to keep good coaches and good teams? I mean, it's just, if you're never in that conversation, your league will never ever compete. You'll lose coaches as they get better, and we're going to be called mid-majors forever. So I think the league, I don't know what they can do different. I mean, obviously this year was based on power rankings, how the league was right up in the top 4 in the conversation all year. I mean, they gave us a lot of leeway when it came to selection day. Mm-hmm. I mean, all that stuff seems to be important, and it's all about making the show and finishing better than most of the teams did this year and last year. But my question is, how now do the Lobos, as far as the coaching, how much accessibility to that money do they get, or does that just go in the pool?
Well, I think the institution has the discretion how they want to use that money, right? So it goes There's a disbursement to the institution. The athletic department then decides how am I going to disperse it. I would like to believe that would go towards, the men's basketball units would go towards men's basketball. The women's basketball units would go towards women's basketball. But I believe it's up to the athletic director, the athletic department, how they opt to use that money.
And I think for the Mountain West, where they're at, in the conversation that we're having about mid-major versus high major, can you be successful? There's always going to be a bigger paycheck out there, but the Mountain West is a conference that you can find sustainability in. That even if your coach moves on, there's enough resources that the next guy in line or a guy maybe coming down to get recharged, like this is a place you go. They're not necessarily going to the Summit League, you're not going to the SWAC. Like this is a conference that coaches want to go to. And even with that money gap and knowing that you're never going to reach a level to keep all these guys happy if they're successful, you have to understand that sustainability and consistency is something that can happen in the Mountain West.
Well, I think you just look around the league, not just currently, but look over the years of the coaches who have been in this league, whether on their way up or on their way back up or whatever, right? I mean, it's good. You can make a living. I think 4 or 5 coaches are north of $1 million a year, which it's not at the top of coaching salaries, but it's still a pretty good living. And the basketball is competitive, and you can earn your way back to where you want to be. All right, 505-24606, and we can continue these conversations, and it's good stuff, and I'll continue to read all the correspondence. But it's a big day in the Boracay, opening day times 2, JJ, around the metro area. So we're going to get into what that means for local sports fans, because it is a big, big day. It's springtime, it's windy time, it's fun time, it's tax time. So what are you going to do with your tax refund? May I suggest using part of your tax refund to protect one of your largest investments? Take part of that refund, call On the Spot Automotive Detailing, and have them detail your vehicle. Have them meet you at your convenience, wherever it is you are, and detail your vehicle. So what does that mean? They come to you. I mean that. I don't know where they are. They know where I am. They come to the office while you're working because you're busy, and they go and detail your vehicle. Inside, outside, under the hood, around the rims, under the seats. Like, this is what the car dealerships do, and when they're done, your vehicle looks and feels and smells like the day you took it off the lot. It's that cool. Ask them about fresh coat of wax or ceramic coating. It'll protect your car from the intense New Mexico sun. They offer a lifetime warranty, and it starts at just $250. Our military receives a 10% discount on the spot automotive detailing. Call and schedule your appointment. The number is 505-859-2859, 505-859-2859, or you can visit them online at otsdetailing.com.
Too strong. It's going to be a rebound there by Brown. Brown gets it in. Bucket there by Alter.
Crossover for Jackson. Salas steals the rebound and finds a cutting Mitchell at the rim.
Great move.
It's almost even in the foul territory, and LaCueva looking to take advantage. Said Yates draws the foul, and one opportunity is said, gives the muscles down.
And it's 11-4, 38. Another turnover by Rio Grande. Montoya off the glass, up and in, back-to-back layups for the Demons.
Stolen away again by Valdez. Valdez going to bring it out.
Valdez has to have around 3 or 4 steals. 3 by Mays.
Bingo! That one rattles in for Alyssa Mays, and the All-District Player of the Year has 12.
Penetrates, no foul call. Rodriguez lines one up and knocks down the 3. First basket of the night.
Look at this deep 3.
Wow! That was from NBA range.
What a steal. Stephenson 2-on-1, gets up, gets it in.
He doesn't use it, comes back out to Dominguez, who takes a three. Boom! There's that man, Superman.
Turns, shoots off. Oh, wow. He made that.
Wow. That was crazy. That was a crazy shot.
Has everybody on him. Now he got open.
Open look for a three, and that's what he does. A three for Denaclaw. His first bucket of the game. And that's a three, and it'll count at the buzzer.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
Sometimes it's the small things that make life easier, like never worrying about being declined at an ATM when only cash will do. With You're Covered from U.S. Eagle, we'll cover you, even if the money's not there. That's a good feeling. And we do it with no extra fees or penalties. It's called trust, and we think that's important, especially if we're asking you to trust us. At U.S. Eagle, that's just part of what it means when we say people mean more.
Don't sacrifice quality of flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, green and red chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier Cinnabons. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenpride@abq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs, proud supporter of ProView Sports Network.
These are more than just the sounds of a safe place to go after school. These are the sounds of interest being ignited and of mentors making an impact. At Boys and Girls Clubs, we don't do just one thing. We do whatever it takes to meet the needs of every kid who comes through those doors. Because whatever it takes is what it takes to build great futures. Great futures start here.
Check it out. What is it? It's a time machine, bro. I could jump into the future, get my paycheck early. I already get my paycheck early at U.S. Eagle.
Get your paycheck up to 2 days early with U.S. Eagle Early Payday. Now's a great time to have your checking with U.S. Eagle.
Time machine.
Your girlfriend breaks up with you in 22 hours, 53 minutes.
Wait, what? Seth?
We fight the battles no one hears about.
We drop into the middle of firefights to rescue others.
And act as one-man air traffic control towers.
We're the ones who go before all others.
U.S. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
Hi everyone, my name is Master Sergeant Jacob Groves. I am a Air Force
on 95.9 FM and AM 610, the Sports Animal.
Look at our city all grewed up today. Look at us all grown up. It's the opening drive. Jeff, JJ, A-Marie. 2 opening days today, JJ. Both, well, not both. There's more than 2, but 2 New Mexico, 2 Albuquerque-based sports professional franchises, both making their first appearance in town this season on the same day. United and Isotopes play on the same day. How can that be, Jeff? They share the same stadium. How is the ball pitch going to be turned into part soccer, part... No. We got a big metropolitan area now. Isotopes open up their home schedule at Isotopes Park today. They will be in action right here on the Sports Animal against Salt Lake. Meanwhile, out in Rio Rancho, the U.S. Open Cup is New Mexico United's first appearance well, they had exhibitions, but first non-exhibition appearance of the season. They'll be out in Rio Rancho against a club called NMSU UDA. That's New Mexico State University Degrees Club in the U.S. Open Cup. Look at us, JJ, all grewed up.
And this is the most Albuquerque thing ever because probably gusts up to 40 miles per hour this evening.
Is it really?
Yes.
It's going to be very
Temperatures
windy.
in the low 40s.
Ooh,
this
really?
is what we live for.
Totes.
This is what we live for. This is Albuquerque to the fullest. It's opening day. You're going to be out there, and it's going to be cold and windy.
So I need to put that hoodie
New
back
Mexico
in my
true,
carry-on.
baby.
I need to put that hoodie in my carry. It's like 89 degrees here yesterday, dude.
It was fantastic yesterday here. I was outside shorts and a T-shirt.
Really? All right. Get people fired up. So explain the U.S. Open Cup. This is the cup that in the inaugural year, United made that run. Remember, they beat an MLS team. They beat the Dallas team and then went up to Minnesota and lost
two MLS teams.
Two of them lost to the team in Minnesota. And this was that run. So it starts off. So why are they playing a club team out of Las Cruces? And that's how this is, right? This is bar teams and open teams all the way up to Major League Soccer teams. This is the Open Cup, about 100 teams, and the MLS teams enter at a different level. They get buys up to a different level. USL teams like New Mexico United come in at this level, but this is that tournament that they made that run that really I think was the biggest thing that ever happened to that club in its first year that made people think, wow, this is super legit. We're going to remember all the talk. Oh, we're going MLS. We're going easy. You don't realize how much money it takes to go MLS.
Yeah, it was. It helped legitimize what they were doing at the same time, and get started again tonight. This is one you look at and say, yeah, if you probably don't put up a decent amount on this team, it's going to be a little frustrated.
So it should be 5, 6, 7 bagel on this,
Yeah.
kind of like it was last. Whether it went 8-0 in this round last year, something along those lines. All right, we're gonna reset. I got a bunch of your correspondence, and we'll get some NFL stuff. Are the Houston Texans really thinking of not taking a quarterback at number 2 in the NFL draft? That's what they say. I don't believe them. I don't think you do either. It's the opening drive on 95.9 FM at AM 610, the Sports Animal.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
Hi everyone, my name is Master Sergeant Jacob Groves. I am a Air Force Special Warfare pararescueman. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Network and New Mexico Youth Sports. Air Force Special Warfare operators are critical thinkers. They maintain a high level of fitness, they take initiative, and they don't quit. For more information on Air Force Special Warfare, contact me at the number listed below.
U.S. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
Check it out. What is it? It's a time machine, bro. I could jump into the future, get my paycheck early. I already get my paycheck early at U.S. Eagle.
Get your paycheck up to 2 days early with U.S. Eagle Early Payday. Now's a great time to have your checking with U.S. Eagle.
Time machine.
Your girlfriend breaks up with you in 22 hours, 53 minutes.
Wait, what? Seth?
These are more than just the sounds of a safe place to go after school. These are the sounds of interest being ignited and of mentors making an impact. At Boys and Girls Clubs, we don't do just one thing. We do whatever it takes to meet the needs of every kid who comes through those doors. Because whatever it takes is what it takes to build great futures. Great futures start here.
We fight the battles no one hears about.
We drop into the middle of firefights to rescue others.
And act as one-man air traffic control towers.
We're the ones who go before all others.
U.S. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walking to the cashier, order up a root beer and a #1. Cover it with green stuff, one scoop is not enough. Find a booth is real tough, back by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot, it's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of ProView Networks. Three-time New Mexico Sportscaster of the Year, Jeff Cindietta, A. Marie Castillo, and J.J. Bach.
NFL Draft is this month now. It is this month. The town I'm in, Houston, Texas. It is. They have the second overall pick, and there was a report yesterday. What are they going to do with their pick? Well, they need a quarterback. I mean, it's obvious. They're going to take a quarterback. It's going to be C.J. Stroud and Bryce Young, isn't it? Well, there was a report yesterday, credible reports, credible reporter, said that they're not. JJ, there's no way they don't take a quarterback, right? There's no way, with everything that they've got going on, with the quarterbacks at the top of this draft, they wait till later. That #2 pick is a quarterback, right?
Yes. There are two guys that have to go 1 and 2 in this draft. It's just the way it is. And you can play the numbers game, and I think it's a great conversation. It's a fair conversation to point out, as you have stated, Jeff, like one of these guys isn't going to work out. One of the guys that we don't think is going to be good is actually going to end up being a good NFL starter. But there's two guys. It's C.J. Stroud. It's Bryce Young. They need to be the quarterbacks for the Panthers and Texans. In whichever order that they go, the top 2 picks in this draft have to be those two guys.
I think that's right, and we'll watch it. I mean, I listen to the reports yesterday. I'm like, there's just no way. There's just no way that they go a different way. The way that franchise is, where they've been with quarterbacks, they had Deshaun Watson, they lose Deshaun Watson. They've tried Davis Mills, they've tried whatever it is they've tried. They've got a new coach. DeMeco Ryans in there, and you got to have a quarterback. You got to have a quarterback. And there's two guys at the top. And if you like, and look, if you don't like those two, I imagine you could trade back a little bit and find somebody else. But I don't know how you go a different way. I really don't.
You can't.
Right.
And this is a situation where I think the odds of these guys working out, it's high. I believe in C.J. Stroud and Bryce Young. I think they're going to be good NFL quarterbacks. I think even Bryce Young, there's some concern about his size. Even with that, I'm taking him over Anthony Richardson. I'm letting Anthony Richardson, even that crazy talent, unbelievable, doing backflips, awesome stuff, could be Josh Allen 2.0.
Ball off the ceiling, yeah.
Like, that's oof, that's tempting, man. That's like walking onto the lot and you see that red Ferrari. You're like, oh my gosh, I got to get that. But I'm letting someone else take him. I think these are the two most polished guys. I think C.J. Stroud is the 1A of the class because he checks every box with the size. Bryce Young has the pocket awareness. He can make the throws. The size is just concerning because he's just a small dude, not height-wise, just weight-wise. But those have to be the first two guys off the board. And then it gets really interesting after that with Anthony Richardson. Is it going to be the Colts just taking it because they have to? And I'm looking at, Seattle and Vegas are really interesting spots for me for Anthony Richardson to be able to just go sit a year because Geno Smith, Jimmy Garoppolo, they got the job now. Doesn't mean they got the job for the next 3 or 4 years.
So you're convinced Anthony Richardson is 3 before Will Levis?
I am.
Okay. I'm not sure I'm as convinced. I won't be surprised by it. I'm not as convinced. All right, the number to get in today is 505-246-0610. That's the 377 Brewery hotline as well as the text line. And we're obviously been talking a ton of hoops. UConn wins the national championship yesterday here in Houston. 76-59 beats San Diego State, and we're reacting to the game, the tournament, but just college basketball, the term mid-major as opposed to what I think it should be high major, semantics and that kind of stuff. You want to talk college basketball, let's go to the phones. Sherman, good morning. How you doing, Sherman? You're on the Sports Animal.
Hey, good morning, and congrats on being at the game. I envy you there.
It was fun, yeah.
Here's the deal for me. If San Diego was my team and they came in second in the nation, and I'm not going to make a big deal out of it, come on. That doesn't make any sense whatsoever.
Well, I don't even think if it's your team, sure. Yeah, I don't even think it's got to be your team. I think, a team that, I think getting to the national championship game is a big deal, and be a team and a program that, for representing a program and a league that's never been there, I get it's a deal. So.
Yes, it's huge. Come on. There's lots of things in the world to complain about, but saying that people are making too much of a big deal about this is not one of them. Come on, man.
Lots of things. Yeah, appreciate you, Sherman. Yeah, see you. There's lots of things in the world to complain about, JJ. He's damn right.
Making the national championship game isn't one of them.
No, look, I get it, man. If it's not your thing, it's not your thing. I just in the world of college basketball, and I would even argue athletics, it's kind of a big deal. What just happened, and I've told you, I think that this is the second largest sporting event in our country. The NCAA tournament. I think the Super Bowl is number one. And I think then there's this, and getting to the championship game and playing for it probably is a pretty big deal. So wherever it goes. How good is UConn, JJ? When we look back at this, what is it? Because let's make a big deal. They won. They cut down nets, right? They're the ones who did it. Put it in perspective what that program's done. They've done it 5 times in the last 25 years. So in the last quarter century, they've won the most. And they've done it with 3 different coaches.
And one of those coaches they kicked out.
And one of those coaches got run out, right? So they changed leagues, came back to the league where they won again, reinvented themselves. I don't want to downplay what they've done, because what they've done, what they've become, what they are, what they've re-become, it's pretty incredible. And we're playing a semantics game with the word mid-major and high major and all that crap. The other semantics game is blue blood. What is a blue blood? And I don't even know. We had this conversation earlier. Does that mean you got to go way back into the black and white era? Is that just, Adolph Rupp and John Wooden? And blue blood means you're a great program. And I don't know how argument over the last quarter century that is what programs in America, and they are currently.
Yeah, the multiple national championships, I think, answer that question with UConn. And so John Gasaway, ESPN writer, actually ranked the 84 national championship teams in a story this morning, and he had this UConn team ranked 37th. So if you're wondering, all right, where are they ranked in the 84 national champions? He had them 37.
Yeah, I mean, that's such a subjective thing because you'll never know, right? You can never play team against team.
But
And
you're asking the question, where do they rank? And they come in, just under halfway.
Well, but I would...
A lot of those teams, too, as you said, to your point, like you look at who people think of course, 1 and 2, they're 72-73 UCLA Bruins. Undefeated
Indiana.
teams. Indiana Hoosiers team is there.
Oh.
There's a lot of UCLA. Actually, 2 appearances by San Francisco in the top 11.
Was that Bill Russell's teams?
Don.
And Bill Cartwright?
Bill Russell, yeah.
Yeah, Bill Cartwright was there too, and so there were a couple really good teams. You look at the dominant teams like that. And part of it is going to be because of they'll say who they play, and they're going to. I'm going to guess they're looking at overall records. This was the 4th best run in the NCAA tournament in regards to dominance in the history of this tournament, right? I mean, as far as dominance, this was the 4th best run. They won by an average of 20 points per game.
I'm really interested in the 1943 Wyoming Cowboys and Ken Sailors, who was one of the earliest practitioners of the jump shot. Helped him win most outstanding player.
Earliest practitioners.
Can shoot a jumper. In the 1943 title game.
Isn't it amazing, the evolution of the game, right? From just slow set shot to the high flying above the rim mess we see now. Not mess. I mean, that's just a nicer word for bleep. But right, I mean, the evolution of the game
not actually wanting to score. Just like, oh, we made 1 basket. Now we're going to hold on to this basketball for 30 minutes and entertain the fans.
Bothered me. I was watching the high school tournament this year, and I'm like, can we put a shot clock in? Because I watched teams slow it down like that, begging for a shot clock. Yeah, it's pretty amazing. That's one of those things you'll never know, right? Like, what's the bottom? How many teams did you tell me have won the NCAA tournament? How many years?
There's 84 teams that are ranked in this story.
All right, so who's the 84th? Like, who's the worst championship team?
The 1944 Utah Utes.
19 what year?
1944.
How do we know?
Arnie Farron and the Utes hold the distinction of being the only team to lose in the NIT back when it was possible to compete in both tournaments and then win the NCAA title in the same year. That's fantastic. How? A car accident forced Arkansas to withdraw from the NCAA tournament. Thus, Utah got in.
Wow. Okay. I mean, I had no idea. Did you?
Nope.
Wow. A car accident.
Trivia.
Wait, say that again. A car accident forced who to miss?
Arkansas.
And so Utah got in and won?
And they won.
That's awesome. See? I didn't belong there. That's crap, JJ. They should expand the tournament. All right, who knew? When we come back, it was 40 years ago today. The Beatles sang. It was 20 years ago today. Sgt. Pepper told the band to play. They've been going in and out of style. But it was 40 years ago today that it forever changed college basketball, and certainly forever changed college basketball in our town. I'm going to look back at that day 40 years ago today. Meanwhile, it used to be, it wasn't that long ago, that if your hair was thinning, you had to deal with it, right? Losing your hair might have been a natural thing. Nothing you could do about it. Certainly not the case anymore. Talking about men and women. Men and women who might be dealing with hair loss or thinning hair. There absolutely is something you can do about getting your hair back, and it starts with one easy call to NuMale. The number's 505-652-1688. 505-652-1688. Or you can go online at NuMale, NuMale.com. So this cutting-edge technology has helped thousands of men and women reclaim their hair, and the pros at NuMale walk you through the options. You can choose what's best for you. Platelet-rich plasma hair therapy, which uses your own platelets to stimulate stem cells deep in your hair follicle, stops hair loss, you regrow hair. FDA-cleared clinical hair restoration laser, proven to regrow hair. NeoGraft hair transplants, which produce natural-looking results in less than a week, and there is no linear scarring. Get your hair back. Make the call. Gentlemen, ladies, new mail's number is 505-652-1688, 505-652-1688, or online at newmail.com.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
Sometimes it's the small things that make life easier, like never worrying about being declined at an ATM when only cash will do. With You're Covered from US Eagle, we'll cover you, even if the money's not there. That's a good feeling. And we do it with no extra fees or penalties. It's called trust, and we think that's important, especially if we're asking you to trust us. At US Eagle, that's just part of what it means when we say people mean more.
Hi everyone, my name is Master Sergeant Jacob Groves. I am a Air Force Special Warfare Pararescueman. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Network and New Mexico Youth Sports. Air Force Special Warfare operators are critical thinkers. They maintain a high level of fitness, they take initiative, and they don't quit. For more information on Air Force Special Warfare, contact me at the number listed below.
U.S. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
These are more than just the sounds of a safe place to go after school. These are the sounds of interest being ignited and of mentors making an impact. At Boys and Girls Clubs, we don't do just one thing. We do whatever it takes to meet the needs of every kid who comes through those doors. Because whatever it takes is what it takes to build great futures. Great futures start here.
We fight the battles no one hears about.
We drop into the middle of firefights to rescue others.
And act as one-man air traffic control towers.
We're the ones who go before all others.
U.S. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
As a mom, I try to make the best choices for my family and our health. That's why I choose Western Sky Community Care. It's a Medicaid plan with quality health coverage and special benefits like Boys and Girls Club membership credit, additional dental benefits, and wellness and support programs. I decide which Medicaid plan is right for us. I choose Western Sky Community Care.
Learn more about Western Sky Community Care by visiting discoverwesternsky.com today.
Don't sacrifice quality and flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, green and red chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier Cinnabons. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenpride@abq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs, proud supporter of ProView Sports Network.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
Everguard Roofing and Solar. For nearly 20 years, Everguard Roofing and Solar has been working with New Mexicans to enhance their homes and businesses. For all your roofing and solar needs in New Mexico, call 505-821-9543.
Rudy's is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
Check it out. What is it? It's a time machine, bro. I could jump into the future, get my paycheck early. I already get my paycheck early at US Eagle.
Get your paycheck up to 2 days early with US Eagle Early Payday. Now's a great time to have your checking with US Eagle.
Time machine.
Your girlfriend breaks up with you in 22 hours, 53 minutes.
Wait, what? Seth?
Hi everyone, my name is Master Sergeant Jacob Groves. I am a Air Force Special Warfare Pararescueman. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Network and New Mexico Youth Sports. Air Force Special Warfare operators are critical thinkers. They maintain a high level of fitness, they take initiative, and they don't quit. For more information,
Could talk a little isotopes before we get out of here as well. Opening day at the ballpark, JJ. Opening day. Pedro Lopez is going to be with us coming up probably. JJ, you want him? What do you want him? You want him at 9:30 or you want him at 9:45?
We know 9:30.
All right, coming up next in the next segment. We'll have him call us. All right, it was 40 years ago today. I heard the story a bunch of times last week. There were a couple people in my office, how they were at the game. Phi Slamma Jamma. Jim Valvano came into the pit and that game, and we've heard the story on tickets. And JJ, that game, I wasn't around then. I know you weren't either. But doesn't it feel like that game, that day, made Albuquerque a college basketball town? The pit was already there. But doesn't it feel like that? I don't know if our Albuquerque's basketball identity is around that game, around the Lobos. But it feels like that was the day that Albuquerque in the pit, I don't know, lives in infamy, and it's 40 years later.
That's a really interesting question, right? Of what that game did for the community. You know what it did for the building and the talk of basketball, but did it ignite a new passion for the game? Did it help lift up the Lobos in that? I think it's really interesting.
Yeah. People still talk about it and just revere it, but it was something. Rod sent me a note on Phi Slamma Jamma. I said, Jefferson, 40 years ago, Phi Stigga Jamma was upset. They were long and thick, just like UConn. Everyone remembers Glide and Akeem, who couldn't breathe in the University Arena air, but Cougars also had Larry Mishaw, second-round pick. Their best player might have been Michael Young, another first-rounder. That club had 4 All-America candidates. Yeah, it was something else, man. I mean, I remember watching the game. I wasn't there, and I'm old enough to. I remember it, but I love talking to some of the people who were around back then, who were at the game, and what it meant to them. So, A. Marie, I got an email that says, couldn't disagree with A. Marie more. I think back in the first segment of the show, you were talking about how maybe this propels the Mountain West, San Diego State on, and who knows, will they be back? And Tellis says, Jeff, after losing to Kentucky, Utah's Rick Majerus said he'd never get there again. The Aztecs will never get here again. Maybe not.
And also I mentioned, I think they'll go far in the tournament. I don't know why. I think San Diego State will do well in future March Madness tournaments.
So, I remember when Gonzaga got there the first time, certainly when Butler got there the first time. Never get there again. I'm not telling you San Diego State's going to be a regular. I'm not telling you that I mean, nobody's a regular. Who the hell's a regular at the Final Four, right? But I do remember when Gonzaga made their first appearance, when Butler got there, and they got back there the next year. Oh, they'll never get there again. We'll see. They got a pro. This isn't something that was a flash of the pan down there. They've been working on this for 20 years.
They're the only team that's done, it might not be a lot, but something and that's relevant in the Mountain West in the last 20 years.
Yeah.
It's not like it's
like I don't
so
get,
it's
I
some
don't
like
get why
big
people
take to be like you're never being a championship again.
Yeah, like I'm like what? Okay.
Yeah, that might be right.
Let's shut it all down. Let's stop talking about sport forever.
Yeah, because everybody should stop playing except for 8 programs in America. Right. Look, you live on these runs. Aggie fans still living on the 1970 Final Four run, right? And
oh my gosh.
No,
Also still living on the Utah one. So yeah.
North Carolina State is living on what happened 40 years ago today in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Like, you live on these runs, yeah, and you live for them if you play college basketball, if you're a college basketball fan. So you can poo-poo it all you want, and that's cool. And you might even be right. It might never happen for some of these schools again. Is FAU ever going to get back? I don't know. They're damn good, dude. They got everybody coming back next year. They might be back again, but we'll see. Lobo Hobo says, I can't stand seeing Lobo fans live vicariously through the Aztecs, Jeffy. Sorry, this program is not that close.
No. That's how I feel like we've discussed this all week or last week, is that Lobo fan is divided into 2 sides.
Yeah.
They're either happy for the Mountain West or they're just like
They
cannot
just despise them.
just
Yeah.
cannot root for San Diego State.
Yeah, and I understand that. I get it.
I understand both sides.
Yeah. Gopher says if it was November and this was the Lobo invite, Lobo fans would be yawning at some of the clubs the Aztecs played, Jeffy. You're 100% right. San Diego State beat Charleston and Furman, Alabama and Creighton, and then FAU. If you had a Lobo invite that had New Mexico, Furman, Charleston, and FAU, how would Lobo fan feel about that? They'd lose their freaking mind, right?
Yeah.
Say it all the time. Just because you don't know about it doesn't mean it's not good. That's kind of my point with the national media, right? The guys who've been screaming that this is because they don't know about San Diego State or FAU. It can't be any good. Just because you don't know about it doesn't mean it's not any good. And I think we saw that. Dan says, too many bowls, Jeffy. Juan Jose, Yana Maria. We don't need to see 5 and 7 clubs and teams with losing conference records in bowls. We also don't need to see 15 and 17 Power 5s. That would be Power 6. I hate the Power 5 term in basketball, as at large as in the NCAA tournament. Okay? Fair enough. Grady says, follow the hate. Dual city host of the OD and the AM. Never ceases to amaze me and amuse me the gyrations some people will walk through to shoehorn their hate for a team and or conference into reality. The reality is that San Diego State had a fantastic run, period. They, and as a result, the Mountain West Conference, were in the championship game, same as the Big East, and more than any other quote-unquote power conference. Sorry, haters. All the yeah buts in the world won't change reality. Now let's follow the conference hate for a second. The people who are dribbling the tournament expansion mess out of the mouths and keyboards because San Diego State lost by double digits are, in my opinion, actually making a different case. How about we stop putting 32 teams from power conferences into the tournament and add more, quote, mid-majors, end quote. I'm all for expanding the breadth of the tournament, not the depth, the number of teams. Stop telling us that the 11th place Big Ten team somehow deserves to be in the tournament over a second place Mid-American squad. Again, the reality that played out in front of all of our eyes proved that teams from all over the country, regardless of conference, can compete. From here to eternity, when I hear the trash argument of how 500 or below power conference teams are more deserving than quality mid-major squads, I'm just going to channel my inner Jim Rome and say scoreboard. Look it up. Look up at it. Thanks, San Diego State and FAU and the rest for a great tournament, and dare I say, /hope, a seminal moment in college basketball tournament history. Hoping for more blue hardware at the end of the high school track season, Grady and Santa Fe by way of the windy, chilly village up north. It's interesting, right? And you know, I've been on that argument. I think a second-place team out of Conference USA, the MAC, is, and I know you and I have argued over this, JJ, that you know is more deserving than a 10th-place team out of the SEC. And
well, it all depends on what the record is.
Yeah.
Because you can have second-place teams that are not good in one-bid leagues.
But you also say resume, right? Look at who they played.
Right. What does a resume look like? And if there is any type of expansion, Utah Valley deserves to be in. Absolutely. Yeah. Like, those are the teams that should be in, as opposed to just looking down and saying, oh, we need that 16 and 16. You know,
Rutgers. No, it would have been Rutgers. It would have been North Carolina.
If those are like playing games, I'm fine with it.
Yeah. But see, it would have been Rutgers, North Carolina. I think Oregon was right there, right? Those were the teams that were going to get in, and so I don't think Utah Valley would have got in.
Well, it depends on what number you're talking.
Well, how many we're expanding by. Yeah. All right, opening day. Pedro Lopez is the manager of the Isotopes. I'm going to tell you about what kind of club you've got. What do we expect from this team who's coming home 2-1? It's the opening drive. Opening day is next on 95.9 FM and AM 610 Sports Animal.
And I have to tell you about 377 Brewery. Been telling you about 377 Brewery, and it is the perfect day. We have been talking about how it's opening home day for the Albuquerque Isotopes, and I have the brewery for you. It's conveniently located right around the corner from where the Isotopes play. It is on the northwest corner of Yale and Gibson. 377 Brewery is your place to go before Isotope games, United games, Lobo games, Lobo events, whatever it may be. This is the place to go. It's a local place. It's great. go there before or after the game. You don't have to go home before you go to the game tonight, the Ice Hope game. Go straight to 377 and then go straight to the ballpark. They have an amazing menu, rotating beers. They have a full bar. You got to go check it out. 377 Brewery on the northwest corner of Gibson and Yale, or check them out at 377brewery.com.
When DeMar Hamlin collapsed.
Too strong. It's going to be a rebound there by Brown. Brown gets it in. Bucket there by Alter.
Crossover for Jackson. Salas steals the rebound and finds a cutting Mitchell at the rim.
Great move.
It's almost even in the foul territory, and the Cueva looking to take advantage. Said Yates draws the foul, and one opportunity is said, gives the muscles down.
And it's 11-4, 38. Another turnover by Rio Grande. Montoya off the glass, up and in, back-to-back layups for the Demons.
Oh, was stolen away again by Valdez. Valdez going to bring it out.
Valdez has to have around 3 or 4 steals. 3 by Mays.
Bingo! That one rattles in for Alyssa Mays, and the All-District Player of the Year has 12.
Penetrates, no foul call. Rodriguez lines one up and knocks down the 3. First basket of the night.
Back it out.
Look at this deep 3.
Wow! That was from NBA range.
What a steal. Stevison 2-on-1, gets up, gets it in.
He doesn't use it, comes back out to Dominguez, who takes the 3. Boom! There's that man, Superman.
Turns, shoots off. Oh, he made that.
Wow. That was crazy. That was a crazy shot.
Has everybody on him. Now he got open.
Open look for a 3, and that's what he does. A 3 for Dennerclaw. His first bucket of the game. And that's a 3, and it'll count at the buzzer.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
Sometimes it's the small things that make life easier, like never worrying about being declined at an ATM when only cash will do. With You're Covered from US Eagle, we'll cover you, even if the money's not there. That's a good feeling. And we do it with no extra fees or penalties. It's called trust, and we think that's important, especially if we're asking you to trust us. At US Eagle, that's just part of what it means when we say people mean more.
Don't sacrifice quality of flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, green and red chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier Cinnabons. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenpride@abq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs, proud supporter of ProView Sports Network.
These are more than just the sounds of a safe place to go after school. These are the sounds of interest being ignited and of mentors making an impact. At Boys and Girls Clubs, we don't do just one thing. We do whatever it takes to meet the needs of every kid who comes through those doors. Because whatever it takes is what it takes to build great futures. Great futures start here.
Check it out. What is it? It's a time machine, bro. I could jump into the future, get my paycheck early.
I already get my paycheck early at US Eagle.
Get your paycheck up to 2 days early with US Eagle early.
The Bigley Ballpark, but kind of like a miniature Bigley Ballpark. But it's a good place, great environment, and I just love playing at home.
Yeah, Isotopes manager Pedro Lopez is with us on the opening drive this morning.
Hilo, what did you see out of your guys this weekend? Finally just able to get out on the field, maybe get some of those jitters out of the way, just focus on baseball, and they had a really good series over the weekend.
Yeah, I think, I think number one, the one thing that stands out from these 3 games that we played in Ramrock was the pitching. Pitching did a really good job. Chris Mahalik, our pitching coach, has done a great job. I'm sending a message to these guys, attacking the strikes, on trying to put the ball in play. And they did that. The one day that we didn't, we had too many walks, and that kind of hurt us. But overall, I think the offense, it's flowing really well. I think the one thing that we're doing right now well is hitting ball to the opposite field. And I think that as long as our hitters, they keep that approach, I think it's going to be good for us.
There's a couple guys that really interest me on this roster. One of them is Cole Tucker. I know he's a veteran guy. He's only 26 years old, but he's had that experience in major leagues. And Nolan Jones, who started the season off really well, kind of a versatile guy, kind of gives you some of that big league experience in the lineup. How do they fit in with this roster, what you're kind of doing early in the season?
Well, I mean, that's one of the things, that I've been saying. It's like, you look at the veteran guys that we have, and you mentioned 2 of them, you mentioned Cole Tucker and Nolan Jones, and, they're young. We don't have those salty bats that we used to have in the past. It's a young ball club with a lot of energy. I wish you guys could see, the way these guys play over there in Round Rock, and I hope it translates here at home. But, I mean, the dugout is full of energy. I mean, it's like, even I think the oldest guys that we might have on the roster might be some of the pitchers, like Caraciti, Fernando Abad, and so forth. So it's a good mix. It's a good mix. But once again, I think all the credit goes to the front office that they have put this squad together, and I just hope that they keep playing the way they played the first 3 games in Round Rock.
Isotope skipper Pedro Lopez is with us this morning. Opening day, or the home opener, is today out at Isotopes Park. Salt Lake is in town. 6:35 first pitch. Pilo, we got an email the other day, or a text, saying something. The Isotopes did something on opening day that they hadn't done since like May of 2019. I don't even know if you knew this, and that was have a record over 500. You're 1-0. You're coming home 2-1, and we get it all the time about winning. And I know we've had this conversation the times we've spoken, but it sounds like there has been a change in focus. While the focus, the priority has got to be developed. You've got an opinion that the best way to develop winners is to win at this level. And I know fans, especially longtime fans who've been around for a long time, remember the Dukes winning championships. Fans would love to see a winner, and I know it's important to you.
Oh, no, it sure is. I mean, if once again, if we're expecting these guys to help out the big league club and to help them win ball games, they got to win in the minor leagues. I mean, it's kind of hard for any front office to ask a player to become a winner at the major league level when they never won in the minor leagues. So that's something that I know Chris Forbes and everybody else, Bill Schmidt, we're trying to do. We saw it the past 2 years. Some of the teams that went to the playoffs, they were at the lower levels. So, we are trying to do that at the higher levels of AA and AAA, because that's the only way that you can help the big league club, put these guys in a good position in a winning environment so they can, when they get up to the big leagues, they kind of, they've already been there. I know the stage is going to be different. I know the fans, it's the amount of fans that they're going to have in a playoff ballpark in the big leagues is going to be completely different. We're talking about 30,000, 40,000 fans, comparative with, you get 16,000 fans on a full house here in Isotope Park. So, we're trying to win. We're trying to win. That's a message. I mean, they feel it. Once again, I think the clubhouse is good. The doghouse, it's amazing. It almost feels like, it's just another day that the guys going out there, they're having fun. So, hopefully they can keep doing that.
We always talk about the jump from AAA to the big leagues, but I always wonder about the AA to AAA jump. And we hear about these guys down in Hartford all the time, put up big numbers, and they win in Hartford, and then they haven't won here. How drastic is the jump from AA to AAA?
It's a big jump. It's a big jump. I've always said that the AA, especially the Eastern League, is a separator. There's a lot of players, a lot of good players that have gone to AA that somehow they've been, being labeled as prospects, and after the AA season, they're just another player. But I think it's a big jump from AA to here, just because you're not facing. In AA, you're facing guys your age, but when you come to the PCO, when you come to AAA, you're facing pitchers that they have been in the big leagues. You're facing lineups that have been in the big leagues, and it's hard. It's hard. It's not easy. It's AAA gives you a little taste of what the big leagues it's going to be all about, and especially playing high altitude, making sure that. The pitchers are still attacking the strikes on the way they were doing it in AA. For hitters, they're not going to see that 3-1 fastball anymore. It's going to be a lot of off-speed pitches, and kind of like what they're going to see in the big league. So it's a big jump. The one thing we just got to make sure, and we say, not only myself as a manager, for the whole staff, is to keep guys engaged and keep teaching them, and keep talking the game the way it's going to be played in the big leagues.
Well, Pilo, you were talking about the pitching, and you guys right now haven't given up a home run. That's going to change, playing the PCL too in Albuquerque. But what is that mindset of a pitcher being aggressive? You kind of touched on that, but attacking the zone. How do you keep that with your guys, and how do you keep preaching that you can make the pitches at this level?
Well, the main thing, and it's like, and everybody, when pitchers, they get here to Albuquerque to high altitude, they're trying to be careful. They're picking, the corners, and that's how you get in trouble. It's just like, I was talking to Chris Mahalik, doing spring training, and, he was saying, I had a pitching coach once at home, and I said, hey, if you're going to give it up, just might as well give it up, early. And that means, being aggressive. And I think that the one thing that hurt us, the past 2 years that I've been here in Albuquerque is the walks. You go 3-0, 3-1, and then here comes a home run instead of trying to put the ball in play early and let the defense do their job. So, hopefully that'll be the case. I mean, they did a good job in Round Rock, like I mentioned before, and hopefully translate to this series here, because we got guys in our pitching staff that can pitch. They got pitch ability, and I just hope the altitude doesn't change and kind of doesn't let them go away from who they are.
Opening nights tonight, home opener, 6:35 first pitch. You hear all Isotopes action right here on your home for Isotopes Baseball, the sports animal with Josh Susham. 6 games against Salt Lake. It culminates on Sunday with a day game, pre-game Easter candy hunt on the field. So get your tickets. Go to abqisotopes.com and get out and have fun. It's always one of the best days of the year. It's opening day. Pedro, have fun with it. Good luck to you. Congratulations on the good start, and always appreciate the conversation. We'll see you out there tonight.
No, thank you very much once again. Thanks for having me.
Be well. Pedro Lopez, the Isotopes manager. It's a big day, boys and girls. It's like I don't know. It's like a new start. By the way, the Masters is this week too.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, then there's that. All right, we'll wrap it up for you. Everything you need to know that happened while we were on the air. It's the opening drive from Houston and the Burke. Don't forget the Burke Brackets on 95.9 FM and AM 610 Sports Animal.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
Sometimes it's the small things that make life easier, like never worrying about being declined at an ATM when only cash will do. With You're Covered from US Eagle, we'll cover you, even if the money's not there. That's a good feeling. And we do it with no extra fees or penalties. It's called trust, and we think that's important, especially if we're asking you to trust us. At US Eagle, that's just part of what it means when we say people mean more.
Don't sacrifice quality of flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, green and red chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier Cinnabons. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenpride@abq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs, proud supporter of ProView Sports Network.
These are more than just the sounds of a safe place to go after school. These are the sounds of interest being ignited and of mentors making an impact. At Boys and Girls Clubs, we don't do just one thing. We do whatever it takes to meet the needs of every kid who comes through those doors. Because whatever it takes is what it takes to build great futures. Great futures start here.
Check it out. What is it? It's a time machine, bro. I could jump into the future, get my paycheck early.
I already get my paycheck early at US Eagle.
Get your paycheck up to 2 days early with US Eagle Early Payday. Now's a great time to have your checking with US Eagle.
Time machine. Your girlfriend breaks up with you in 22 hours, 53 minutes. Wait, what? Seth?
We fight the battles no one hears about.
We drop into the middle of firefights to rescue others.
And act as one-man air traffic control towers.
We're the ones who go before all others.
U.S. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
Hi everyone, my name is Master Sergeant Jacob Groves. I am a Air Force Special Warfare pararescueman. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Network and New Mexico Youth Sports. Air Force Special Warfare operators are critical thinkers. They maintain a high level of fitness, they take initiative, and they don't quit. For more information on Air Force Special Warfare, contact me at the number listed below.
U.S. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
As a mom, I try to make the best choices for my family and our health. That's why I choose Western Sky Community Care. It's a Medicaid plan with quality health coverage and special benefits like Boys and Girls Club membership credit, additional dental benefits, and wellness and support programs. I decide which Medicaid plan is right for us. I choose Western Sky Community Care.
Learn more about Western Sky Community Care by visiting discoverwesternsky.com today.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walking to the cashier, order up a root beer and a #1. Cover it with green stuff, one scoop is not enough. Find a booth is real tough, back by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot, it's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
We fight the battles no one hears about.
We drop into the middle of firefights to rescue others.
And act as one-man air traffic control towers.
We're the ones who go before all others.
U.S. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
Hi everyone, my name is Master Sergeant Jacob Groves. I am a Air Force Special Warfare Pararescueman. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Network and New Mexico Youth Sports. Air Force Special Warfare operators are critical thinkers. They maintain a high level of fitness, they take initiative, and they don't quit. For more information on Air Force Special Warfare, contact me at the number listed below.
U.S. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView.
Sports Animal.
A quarterback on the market, a name that we haven't been talking about.
Nope.
Reports was for sale, but no one has bought to this point in time. It is NFL draft season. Full force NFL draft is coming up at the end of this month. We're going to be hot and heavy with NFL talk all the way to the draft, breaking it down. To me, top two picks are set in stone. C.J. Stroud, Bryce Young, Carolina, Houston. Whoever Carolina likes most, and then Houston will get the second one. Those are the no-brainers. Then it gets really interesting at 3 with the Arizona Cardinals because they become a little frenzy. The teams get a little anxious. Maybe trying to trade up if you're even a team like the Las Vegas Raiders with Jimmy Garoppolo. What are the Atlanta Falcons? You can tell all you want about Desmond Ridder. I do not believe he's the long-term future of the Atlanta Falcons. But reports are this morning, and this is from Pro Football Talk, that Bill Belichick shopped Mac Jones to multiple teams this off season. Okay. New Mac Jones, it's good, not great. Solid. He's third-tier quarterback right now. That's fine. But I will say, last year, the New England Patriots didn't do a whole lot to help one Mac Jones.
No.
They did not have a lot of offensive guys coaching offensive football in New England last year. And Bill Belichick is known for what? Being a defensive coordinator. And he had a special teams coach. He had other defensive guys running the offense. So I think that hurt Mac Jones. I think he's a guy that he settles in nicely. He's never going to be spectacular. He can be solid. He can be a quarterback that can make a wild card run. And that's understandable. And that is why the Patriots, in my opinion, and we talked about it, J.J. Buck-Murray, the opening drive here on the Sports Animal, that they're a dark horse team for Lamar Jackson. Because Bill Belichick has been fascinated with the running quarterbacks. He's still a guy that if you go to the core, he'll want to run the football and play defense. He just happened to have Tom Brady, so he had some spectacular offenses over that time. But if you're saying, all right, long shot, dark horse in this conversation, depending on what happens moving forward with the Ravens and Lamar Jackson, they'd be a team that would make sense. And it's why you'd potentially be shopping Mac Jones, because the Patriots aren't necessarily getting into the running at this point in time to get one of the top 3 quarterbacks in the draft. So it's really not shocking news to see.
This doesn't surprise me.
That Bill Belichick and the Patriots might have been throwing it out there. Hey, got Mac Jones. Any y'all interested?
Yeah, this doesn't surprise me, and not even. I like your Lamar Jackson. Bill Belichick might have a thing because Bill Belichick loves quarterbacks like Lamar Jackson. But I mean, is it Bailey Zappi time? Is that what we're saying here, JJ? That's a joke, by the way. It's going to be a very interesting time for the Patriots because I don't think Mac Jones is like, oh my God, elite next star of the NFL. I think he's all right. And just like you said, he didn't have weapons. But this is going to be a big decision going into the next season, too, because next year, are they going to pick up his 5th option? Are they going to pay the man? But where would Mac Jones go? That's what I'm thinking more. I'm like, JJ, who would want Mac Jones right now? We're running out of teams for quarterbacks.
Yeah, because if you're a high, Houston, Carolina, you're not trading for Mac Jones.
You're not getting Mac Jones after you've done what you've done in free agency.
You're not Mac Jones isn't getting you a first-round pick in return.
No.
At this moment in time.
No.
So would a team like Indianapolis take a chance if they are they going to settle for Anthony Richardson? Would Washington be interested? So I think there's like spots where it makes sense. You could get, a competent, solid quarterback to
and
go
probably
in.
for a good price.
It's not gonna cost you.
It's not gonna cost
first
you
round
anything.
pick to get Mac Jones. But I do think this is interesting. Like, what is the future for the New England Patriots? And when they brought in Mac Jones, they still had their offensive guru, Josh McDaniels there. They had a pretty good rookie season. They made the playoffs. They got the doors blown off. But you did see a regression last year, and I think a lot of that was coaching. And coaching does matter in sport. It does at every level. And the Patriots haven't been a great team when it comes to offensive skill position players either. So Mac Jones really wasn't set up in a positive place at all last year. It's like Jacoby Myers was your best receiver, and he didn't sign him. He left. And so I think this is a tough situation. I don't think Mac Jones
I think they're kind of stuck with him.
Yeah, I don't
Till
think
next
he's
year.
broken.
I don't think he's broken.
A bad quarterback. I think he's like properly rated.
I don't think he's
Mac
going to get
Jones.
traded this year. I don't think there's any possible way. And I mean, anything's possible. But I don't think it would be smart on the Patriots, and they need to revisit this next year. I don't think he's the future Patriots quarterback, but I think you just got to stick with him this year.
Yeah, and I think it's really, they turn to Bailey Zappi. Would they make a run at a Lamar Jackson? Because those are your options. Because they're not necessarily in a position where they have enough ammunition to move up too high. Could they be in the Will Levis conversation? I don't think they'd be able to push themselves into the Anthony Richardson conversations. Because right now, those are the 4 first-round quarterbacks. C.J. Stroud, Bryce Young, Anthony Richardson, and Will Levis.
Yeah, and they have the 14th overall pick this year. They have 11 total, but not until the later rounds. But they have 1 first round, and they need more than just.
So what is the motivation for that? Because if you have Mac Jones, if I'm looking at Will Levis, I don't think that's a huge upgrade. So I wouldn't be pushing to make that move just to try to get into that conversation. I could see it Anthony Richardson just because he is dynamic and that is so tantalizing. It's you have yourself like a project car. You got the engine, the thing goes 200 miles per hour, and then you're like, all right, we just need to get the suspension. We need to get this thing to where we trust it all over the place. And that's Anthony Richardson. But I don't think that even a team like New England would have enough to get into that conversation because you're talking top 5 for Anthony Richardson. Like that's where he's going to go. And so that's what you're asking yourself, like, what is the motivation to float Mac Jones? What's the next step? It's all right. You would punt.
They're
the whole
preparing
season
him
for
for
Bailey
next
Zappi.
year. They're preparing him for next
that's
year.
What, so it's like, what is the next step? And that's why, to me, it would be Lamar Jackson. Because who else? It's not Aaron Rodgers.
It's not. No. Yeah, that's the only logical thing. And for all of us that know Bill Belichick, and that's like you've been saying, that's so Bill Belichick.
Because he was a fan of Cam Newton.
Yes.
Now he just happened to kind of Cam Newton.
He
like
likes
too
projects
late in his
too, by
career.
the way. Bill Belichick likes projects.
There you go. Your NFL news of this morning. Mac Jones was on the trading block, but not surprising they'd potentially move on from Mac Jones. But what would the motivation be to move on? One thing, Pedro Lopez, Isopes manager. The season is upon us. You can hear Isopes Basel right here on the Sports Animal. 6:15, Josh Hushan back from his trip to the national championship game. He'll be calling the Topes action. Jeff Symbieta back with us in studio tomorrow from gallivanting in Houston at the Final Four. Emery, thank you.
Thank you.
As always, got the Jim Rome Show coming up next. Colin Cowherd, followed by your boys, 2 men on, and then Isopes Baseball right here on the Sports Animal. Adrian, appreciate you at ProView. Everybody, Med-Roll, peace and love. Have a great day.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
Sometimes it's the small things that make life easier, like never worrying about being declined at an ATM when only cash will do. With You're Covered from US Eagle, we'll cover you, even if the money's not there. That's a good feeling. And we do it with no extra fees or penalties. It's called trust, and we think that's important, especially if we're asking you to trust us. At US Eagle, that's just part of what it means when we say people mean more.
Don't sacrifice quality of flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, green and red chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier Cinnabons. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenpride@abq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs, proud supporter of ProView Sports Network.
These are more than just the sounds of a safe place to go after school. These are the sounds of interest being ignited and of mentors making an impact. At Boys and Girls Clubs, we don't do just one thing. We do whatever it takes to meet the needs of every kid who comes through those doors. Because whatever it takes is what it takes to build great futures. Great futures start here.
Check it out. What is it? It's a time machine, bro. I could jump into the future, get my paycheck early. I already get my paycheck early at US Eagle.
Get your paycheck up to 2 days early with US Eagle Early Payday. Now's a great time to have your checking with US Eagle.
Time machine. Your girlfriend breaks up with you in 22 hours, 53 minutes. Wait, what? Seth?
We fight the battles no one hears about.
We drop into the middle of firefights to rescue others.
And act as one-man air traffic control towers.
We're the ones who go before all others.
U.S. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
Hi everyone, my name is Master Sergeant Jacob Groves. I am a Air Force Special Warfare pararescueman. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Network and New Mexico Youth Sports. Air Force Special Warfare operators are critical thinkers. They maintain a high level of fitness, they take initiative, and they don't quit. For more information on Air Force Special Warfare, contact me at the number listed below.
U.S. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Sports.